It's the Hampton Heat, and what a day it is anticipated to be on this beautiful Sunday afternoon.
What a beautiful day it is. Look at the weather outside. The sun is shining. A beautiful classic scenery around this historic racetrack here in Virginia. And many cars want to try and make the feature of this 200-lap race.
It is the second race of the Mystic Triple Crown. Following this, we'll take a break all the way until October when we go qualifying for the Martinsville 300. But of course, with only 2 races on the docket, including this one tonight, it is anticipated to be a wild afternoon here in Virginia. We take a look at the weather entering today. This track was opened back in 1950 as we get set to go racing at King Law's Langley Speedway. Going to be a hot afternoon here. 106 degrees Fahrenheit down on the racetrack means it is going to be slick out there at this flat little bull ring.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing we keep hearing from all these late model drivers when we do these shows for the Mystic Triple Crown or for the other shows we do on Green Flag TV. They love this hot weather. Nolan, I say this hot weather helps those cars get a little loose and get some rotation in them. So these guys are happy that it is this hot outside.
Drivers are going to be absolutely loving that it is this hot out here on the afternoon. But let's talk about this race going in, right? It is, of course, one of the races of the Mystic Late Model Triple Crown, and we saw the South Boston 200 just a week ago. To say it was a doozy would be putting it mildly. That race was an absolute bloodbath. Now, will it be the same situation here this afternoon? And, well, you never know. It's the Langley Speedway. We've seen some wild scenes here before, especially with the SRA Mini Stock Championship way back when here on Green Flag TV. Can't, of course, forget the prizes for today. Over $125 on offer with a purse lining all the way back up to the top 10 of the main event tonight.
Yeah, lots of money on the line. Also, it's lots of pride on the line. This is a special event for the Mystic Racing League to put on this Triple Crown. Everyone wants to perform and shine in this event. Qualifying is just about to kick off here. We're getting cars lined up, and race control is calling the first few numbers of cars to come off pit road here in Nolan. So here it is, single car qualifying. Everybody gets a chance. 18 cars will qualify right on through to the feature. So I wonder, as a driver, Nolan, if not that these guys get a choice, but if I did get a choice, do I want to qualify first and kind of go set the bar and, just be done with this? Or do I want to go last so I know what I need to do to make it in the future?
I think you'd want to go somewhere in the middle. You want the chance to kind of scout the competition, see what the good line is, what other drivers are doing in qualifying, but you also want to wait for there to be a bit more rubber down on the racetrack as well. Now, that said, you got to keep in mind, right, we're also working our way through the afternoon portion. This is the hottest it's going to be is right now. So for these drivers, it is absolutely critical for them that they make that run as late in the day as possible, because that's when that track will get a little bit cooler and a little bit more grip into those Hoosiers.
Yeah, but that said, though, like these drivers always tell us that this heat helps that car rotate. So if you want that heat to help your car get a little loose and get it rotate through these corners, maybe you don't want to go last. There's a lot of questions here about, when you do and don't want to qualify. It's just one of the many things we'll talk about as the night goes on. Race control is currently doing a roll call of drivers to determine determine who's here to go out first for qualifying. So just kind of in a bit of a waiting period here, Nolan. Of course, remember this beautiful racetrack, a very flat racetrack, by the way. 6 degrees of banking on the corners, and I think 2 degrees of banking on the straights. This might be one of the flattest racetracks we're at all year long for any race series.
43 drivers getting set to make their way in. Top 18 will make it into the show from qualifying, followed by 325 live heat races, which will then see the top 4 advance from those into the main event as well. So let's see who's going to be first down on the racetrack as we get set to get this show on the road. You're watching the Hampton Heat and the second race of the Mystic Racing League Triple Crown. Jeffrey Johnson, the first driver to jump into his machine, but it will be instead Scott Shive making his way on to the circuit.
There we go, in that white 81 car with the red kind of background of the font gets up on the back straight here. And these have been very quick laps, by the way, and I point that out not as a way to say not a lot of time to figure this out. These guys have had to put a lot of practice in. I mean, look at that. He's already up in turns 1 and 2, and he's just about to already be on the back straight for his first time lap here. He's already almost halfway done with his qualifying run.
Coming around turn numbers 3 and 4 for Scott Shive, and he's going to hightail it off of turn number 4. Lap 1 already in the books for him. 16:044 for Scott Shive. Now, is this a quick time? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Using all of the apron, though, down to the inside. A bit of an interesting line. You don't often see drivers take into the apron, but it's going to give him some extra speed. He'll improve with an 0.28 to close out his qualifying effort.
Yeah, it's interesting to see him all the way down there trying to use all that track, and I suspect it's, again, just to loosen up that race car, just help it rotate, just give you more chance to make it happen here. And next car has been called to the stall. The 54, I believe, will be next on the list.
Just waiting to see where he is. There he is. Brandon Elvis will be the next driver to take to the racetrack with the Coastal ECR number 54 entry. Running the traditional Chevy colors for the late model stock in Iverson. You see how he's lurching on the throttle, right? He's trying to get extra heat into the brakes, something that is much more important here than it was at South Boston.
Yeah, something's definitely more important in the race itself, maybe than right now. I mean, braking is still important in your qualifying run. You definitely want to get all those heats into the brakes before you actually get racing, whether it be into the heats or into the main race that'll happen in a couple hours from now. So here he goes. Now, the difference I noticed already in this run here from Elvis is he is not all the way down below that yellow line. Maybe a little bit, but not nearly as much as our first car was.
How about that? Already blitzing the competition by a decent margin on that one, as he is going to jump to the front of the field by a 10.5. So a 16-second time, evidently not going to be getting you anywhere near pole position here this afternoon. Jeffrey Johnson already headed to the racetrack.
Now, black car, the black number 27 car here. It's going to be an interesting car. This car right now is kind of difficult to read in the daytime, though, as this race goes on. It's already about 4:30 p.m. virtual sim time. It's past 5 o'clock now. So as the day goes on, and if the lights come on, that black paint is going to pop off of those lights.
Coming around turn numbers 1 and 2 as the field will make its way out to the racetrack. Going to be a fun afternoon for the pack as Jeffrey Johnson right now third on the cards, a 16:042. Second time around, a 1:28. So Jeffrey Johnson right now situated third out of 3 qualifiers. And I have a feeling he'll be dropping down a little bit further before this session draws to a close.
Here's our next car on the list. It is Gavin Gleitzman here. And you see he's kind of wiggling that car, Nolan, trying to get some heat into those tires, trying to make things happen. But it's going on forever here. And I'm wondering if he's maybe... Sometimes you can get too cute with a strategy, and I wonder if that's what's going to happen here without getting enough speed into the car. Here he comes. He'll take the green flag on the line and already be turning into 1s and 2 here. And he's now below the yellow line like our first car tonight.
Cranking his way around through turn numbers 3 and 4, desperate to try to get a run going here for Gleitzman. As you take a ride on board to the full lap, you can see just how much wheel work they're having to put into these cars. 15,894 for lap number 1, off of the pole position by just 23 thousandths. Can he find the 200ths and change that he needs off of turn number 4 to the line? And it's going to be a 910 for lap number 2. No improvement.
And I was wondering in my head as this goes on, Nolan, I don't know if we'll see much improvement on second laps tonight because it's just, it's tire wear, right, around a track like this. And it's not impossible. This isn't, the mile and a half of NASCAR where it's definite for sure. But I'm willing to bet most drivers tonight, their first lap will be their faster lap. Here comes Cody Troyer on the 122 up on the track here. And I think it's worth saying, by the way, these are 16-second, maybe 15-second laps for these drivers. It means within 30 seconds, you're done qualifying. It's just that fast. And I put it out as a way of saying that's how fast things can move tonight. 30 seconds for 2 laps here. And if you watch the onboards, these guys basically never stop turning.
16:061, the final time for Cody Troyer, bottom of the barrel for the time being. So 5 out of 5 for the qualifying sheets. Still a long way to go before we get our grids set for the 3 heat races and at least a good chunk of your main event crowd. No sign of our next competitor taking to the racetrack just yet. I know there's a few in waiting, which tells me, Derek, we are probably missing someone in the lineup who was not able to make the call here this afternoon. It was supposed to be Zachary Mertez, the next one out, so that should be the 0-2 right here, according to my sheet. But he is not moving.
Discussion, and I'm not sure what happened there, but 0-2. 51's now on track. Okay, here we go.
Tough break for Zachary Mertez. Wonder if he'll get a second attempt later on.
Yeah, I think he will, because Gavin was out of order too, I do believe. I think Gavin was a car late, if I remember right, as well from the order we saw earlier. So I'm sure he'll get a shot here. They do want to let everyone in if they can, but beautiful, quick lines, it feels like, here for the 51. Dove deep into that corner as much as you can here. And I think it's worth also saying this again, a flat racetrack. Sometimes we take these cars to some tracks, you know, that are a little bit steeper in the banking, maybe even a South Boston, maybe, you know, a Bristol once a year. And it's really easy to dig a car into the bottom of a lane when you have all that banking to help you. But you get here at a 6-degree banking, and it's going to be hard to make a move as that car was sliding through 3 and 4.
Well, it doesn't matter. He may have burned the second lap, but he got the first one exactly where he wanted it. 15.795 will put Toby Lane into provisional pole position here on the afternoon. Good effort for him. Ty Leclerc, the next driver, back onto the circuit with the 33 entry. Running one of our first Ford bodies being run here. Toby Lane was running one of our first Toyotas of the field. Leclerc bringing the Hypertherm 33 around turn numbers 3 and 4. Close on lap number 1, 16.001 for the opening time. 16 seconds flat on the official sheets. 4th place out of 7. Looking to come around turn numbers 3 and 4. And can he punch his way into the 15-second bracket? Gonna be tight. Doesn't manage to make it.
Very close, though, within 4 thousandths of a second of being right on a 16-second mark. But that's where he'll finish up here. Now is the 0-2 at Tyler Hilton, one of the cars that I've heard called to the access road, and who can pull up here and make his shot at this. And this is moving along fast here, and these guys are doing a great job at managing the pressure and knowing what they got to do. Remember, Nolan, I think last we saw over 40 cars looking to qualify for only 18 guaranteed spots into the heat or into the main race. Pardon me.
You heard Tyler Hilton really fell in the throttle. I think he was about to go into the wall there with how much that car was plowing tight. That may have ruined his second lap here. It was an 0.99 in the 16-second bracket for the first run. We'll see what it is for the second. But you're right, Derek. 43 cars were anticipated to at least register for this race. And sure enough, Hilton not going to improve, bringing James Sturdivant onto the racetrack. How about that? Our first Dodge hitting the circuit.
Yeah, one by one. We're seeing all the different looks here. And a very different look as well in that paint. Look at this, got like that very flashy chrome and sort of that, I call it like a candy apple red look going on there. As Sturdivant here is now going to bring it around here. And I'm seeing more and more of these drivers are trying to use that yellow line, Nolan. I think it's just going to be because, you know, typically getting down in the apron of a racetrack will kind of loosen the car up. It's not really, you know, paved the same way or grooved in for racing. And so you'll often get that car a little loose down there. And that's what these guys want.
Only a 16.5 as Sturdivant took a very shallow exit out of turn number 4. Gonna have to try to find more here on lap number 2, but again, not a good run at all. 16.5, that's almost half a second off of the next closest car. He is gonna have to find something extra when it comes to the heat races, because that is not gonna make allow him into the show.
Now here comes Luke Barnes. Saw him kind of wiggling the 04 around, see if he could find some extra heat in the tires here. And I say all the time, when we come to short tracks, whether it's here, you know, or Kern Raceway, or the other ones we do on the channel, it's obvious who is and is not a short track racer. It's obvious who is and is not just excellent at this, right? And there's a big skill gap between the two. And sure, sometimes you don't have to be great to win a race. Sometimes you have to be a little bit lucky and just kind of let things roll your way. But especially in qualifying, it's pretty easy to see who is more comfortable in these cars and on these tracks than other people sometimes.
Luke Barnes looking very comfortable 2 times into the 15-second bracket. His quickest will be a 9:27, good enough for 4th out of 10 for the time being. Next driver, Colby Vaughn, bringing the JBD number 71 to the circuit. All the way to the top shelf, running the classic Chevrolet late model stock colors. And he'll hit the ground running for his qualifying effort.
Speaking of hitting the ground running, we really are. This is our 11th car already on track, trying to set a time and lock their way in here. So again, a very classic blue color, sort of called one like a, I call it like a Logitech blue or an electric blue, but a very nice looking car.
First time, 15.985 for Vaughn. Good enough for 5 out of 11. Next time, 882. He'll get a big improvement, jumping him up to third.
Wow. I think that's our first or our second car tonight that's improved on the second lap.
Showing that there is the potential for more. You just got to find that line. Adam Holston, the next driver up. Running the first Team Town Bank number 77 Toyota. Lap 1, he's looking hot for it all the way up to the outside wall. Exit of 2. Real wide line in 3. He's trying to find the speed to get a second lap improvement.
Yeah, he was trying to find a way to dig in that corner in 4 and see if he could come up with some speed, because he was pretty high up in that corner in 3 here. Up through 1 and 2 on the back straight. See if he'll try it again or if he does a more classic. Yeah, it's a little bit more of the classic run through the corner out of 3 and 4.
15.928. Good enough for 6th place out of 12. Top half of the field so far. We're already just over a quarter of the way through our field. There's Hunter Tyson. Diamond off of 4. He'll begin his first attempt at a lap. See all that dust on the inside of turn 1 as well. That can't be making it easy for these drivers to find the line.
No, it's a little bit of dirt down there. It'll really mess with the car. But again, I think that's what they want here as time goes on. And here comes now Hunter Tyson. And oh boy. Not just the time, but the line he took into 1 that second time. That's a new pole time for Hunter Tyson, but he was really deep into 1 on that second lap here. This second lap, I think, it's got to be slower. He's coming around. Yeah, it's going to be almost 2/10 slower, but it does not matter because he's on the pole.
Great effort there for Hunter Tyson to get himself to provisional pole. Garrett Caswell bringing the GTC R87 Chevy back to bear. Keeping in mind, there is a $25 prize for taking pole position here this afternoon. So there is cash on the line that these drivers are racing for throughout these 2 laps as Garrett Caswell out of turn number 4. 16.063 for the 87.
Watch this 87 here come up off of the corner here. And one thing that's going to make a difference in these cars tonight, Nolan, as we watch everyone qualify, and even as we race, is how comfortable you are getting off the corner. Watch a good camera angle here. Watch all the space he's leaving between himself and the wall. That sounds kind of wild to say, but the more you let that car kind of climb up on its own with no friction in the wheel, not fighting the wheel, is more speed you're carrying out of the corner. So the drivers typically who are going to qualify better here are the drivers who are comfortable getting closer to the wall.
Skylar Dixon, one of our racers carrying over from the South Boston 200 earlier this year. Trying to see if he can't find some momentum for at least the first lap on this effort. 16.024, not a bad way to kick things off for Dixon. Finished 19th with one of our many drivers that did not finish the race at the South Boston 200. 15.901. That'll get him far up the charts.
Do a great job is what's going to do there. That'll be a great run here for Skylar Brown. And now we're getting to that point now where the 15s are becoming more common, and I don't want to say less special, but I mean, when you're top, 7, I think now all have 15s. It's still cool to see them, but now it doesn't feel quite as unattainable as it did the first couple of times.
Top 8 right now with the 15-second bracket on the cars. Like I said, it's going to be the high 15s. Really, anything under a 15.9, I think, is really quick. And Hubbard's on the margin, a 15.908 for 7th place for the time being. Trying to dime it off into 3 and 4 for lap number 2, making all the use out of that, able to get some extra rotation through the back end to the line. A 15.887. But not going to count. The lap got invalidated. I think he scraped the wall to the back straightaway.
Must have scraped the wall. Yeah, he must have scraped the wall in the back straightaway for that not to count. So for other time will count, but that one will not. As now Lucas Austin makes his way around here. And that number 13 machine, the black with the white and red trim and kind of side colors to the car. It gets around here in the corner. And this feels fast for some reason for Austin. I'm not sure if I could tell you why, but it just feels like the car is moving a little faster down the back straight than some others.
Well, maybe because it is 15,894, tying with Gavin Gleitzman for the number 5 position. If he can find just 1 thou more, he'll be on the inside of row 3 as it stands to the stripe. Not going to get it, a 9.48, so goes order of seniority for the time. That'll put Gleitzman into the 5th place spot for the time being. Ethan Johnson, next driver to the circuit.
A very traditional black and white look on a race car is in full play here with Ethan Johnson with the 51 on, gets up here and takes the line. He's currently working on that first lap, gets it tracked out pretty well up against the wall, gets it down in the corner. We'll come up off and away we go. Good news, by the way, Nolan, for all these drivers. Obviously, as we said, the first 8 teams qualify right to the main race directly, but everyone is going to get a second shot here. No one goes home just based on your quality time. Now, the downside, though, is if you're the last guy to quality, or time-wise at least, you're going to be the last guy lined up in your heat trying to make it through.
Talk about an ad from Ethan Johnson, much like Hunter Tyser before him. Lap 1 is all he needed. 15.748 puts Johnson to the top of the charts. Those heat races are going to be interesting because as we saw at the South Boston 200, we hit the time limit in that race because of how many yellows there were for drivers trying to race their way out of desperation. So it's just because you get to the heats does not mean you're in for an easy time by any stretch of the imagination. Max Dinda, the next driver up. And from this point on, we're going to be sending drivers into the heats.
Yeah, this is it. This is the 19th car. So, I mean, I'm not saying those first 18 are locked in, but if you're up top, you've got to feel safe. You've got to think, hey, you know, I'm top half maybe. I'm top third of that board. I should be safe. But right now, if you're probably, I'd say, 14th on down, you've got to be nervous about your position.
Absolutely, for sure. As drivers hightail this one out of turn numbers 3 and 4, and Dinda going to go to the 15th place spot. James Sturdivant sitting in 19th for the meantime. Well, the battle still has yet to kick off here. Zachary Mertez, the next driver to come on up here for a run.
Yeah, I think Zach had some problems earlier. Got to go out later than where he was originally in the qualifying order. Is now going to come on around here and put a qualifying time down for that 0-2 machine.
Mertez struggled a little bit with the connection, it looks like. First lap in, 15.950. Gets him enough for the number 12 spot. The current lap will not be representative of the current time. We'll have to wait until that is finalized. Is it an improvement? Does not look like it. Mertez will sit number 12.
Yeah, race control just said the same thing you did. There's a connection problem there with the O2, so race control's already kind of made him aware, so they need to work on that. But here comes the 017 car. Dylan Barris, the pink and black attack is on the track here. It's going to come through the corner and make its way on around, and feels like as this day's going on, Nolan, I'm kind of surprised that we're finding faster and faster times. Yes, you could argue the track's getting rubbered in, but as time elapses, that track should be cooling down as well. So there's going to become a breaking point here when I think it's not faster anymore.
Have to agree with you on that one. Dylan Barris right now 10th place on the boards. As we will highlight the drivers with the top 18 that are currently in. Garrett Caswell, the first driver out. Barnes gets down a 9:29 for his second attempt. Right now, Cody Troyer sits on the bump spot with a 16:061. That's the time to beat if you want to race your way into the main event or qualify your way into the main event.
Dylan Calkins now the next car up and at 191. A bit of a kind of a horizontal stripes, little diagonal stripes here on the side of this 191. Very chrome look. As he comes around for the first lap here, and he'll be in the high 15 to 9.42 for the first run here.
Oh, good effort.
We'll have to improve, about 0.2 of a second to get in on the pole. Let's see if he gets there. Way below, almost 4 tires below the yellow line here, Nolan. Lets it track out. I think this will be slow, or no, it's just about almost identical, 0.03 of a second apart. A little faster.
Yeah, 0.03 apart for the moment. Next driver up going to be Kyle Dumas here for the field. Dumas getting set to drive his way back on through. It's going to be a good effort, I think, for him as the pack's still showing that it's got a lot of pace underneath it. What do you reckon? Do you feel like we get this field up and sorted with some good efforts before the end of qualifying here, or do we see the top times stand as they are from here on out?
Well, let's take a look and see as we're asking that question here. We're watching another car on track. This would be Kyle Dumas right now, who's having a good run around. First time by is 16.019. As far as your question here. I mean, right now, in the foreseeable future, the air temp's almost exactly the same here at this racetrack. So I don't know how much it's really going to cool off, if any. So I think we might see some people come in and surprise us towards the end.
Brody Marinko, the next driver to the circuit, running that Toyota Camry look. Well, Hightailor down to the turn numbers 1 and 2. So Brody Marinko able to get a run going here. So the EJR graphics entry coming around, looking quick through turn numbers 1 and 2 to 15.915. That'll be good enough at the moment for the 11th place position on the board. Wants to improve just a tick extra, though. As Brody Marinko, 905. He'll improve by another 10 thousandths, get himself into the top 10 of qualifying. Have about 11 drivers still left to go. Jordan Brinkley, the next one to the racetrack. Blaze Brinkley heading on to the circuit. Driver of the number 11 entry, looking to come out of here with a good effort here on the afternoon. It's going to be quite the drive, I think, for this pack, as Blaze Brinkley heading down to the turn numbers 3 and 4, looking to the end of lap number 1 for his qualifying effort. 15.986 here, Derek. That puts him dangerously close to the bump spot.
Puts him dangerously close, but also weirdly enough, dangerously close to the pole. That's again, it's only about a two-tenths of a second away from being there as well. So he'll come around here a second time, and it's going to be slower a little bit here.
Yes, sir. Just a little bit. Still has a little bit of work to do, but, well, he's at least relatively safe for the time being. Dave Billings, next driver up here. Bump spot now, Ty Leclerc with a 16-second time. So anything under 16 seconds, you will be into the show. Billings, again, one of the racers that was with us here at the South Boston 200 just about a month ago. 16.271, needs to find more time.
A lot more time right now as the 14 is going to come on around here and get up on the back straight and try to get up on that throttle. Get himself here maybe a late break in. And that's why I don't want to go last in these qualifying events. No, I don't want to have this stress on me as a driver on knowing what I have to do. That time there is 2/10 faster. Still not fast enough to get him locked in. But this is why I don't want to go last. I don't want to know what I have to do to be in the event. I just want to get out there and do it and let things happen.
A lot of drivers operate better under pressure. We'll have to see what the plan is for some of these guys, as Cameron Ruggles will be the next one to take to the circuit. A lot of drivers that have been quick have been utilizing not the whole apron, but maybe half of that apron. Evidence of it right there, 15.8. That pumps Ty Leclerc out of the top 18.
And I know you said anyone under a 16 is safe. That's for now. I won't be surprised. I mean, how deep are we in? We're 27 deep here. This is the 27th car right here. I won't be surprised if we get to where a 15.8 is the safe number. We're pumping some good numbers out here. 16 is safe for now, but I think you're going to need a better number than that to really lock yourself in.
Jacob Hefner, the next driver to make his way to the racetrack. Hefner, again, one of the contenders that was racing with us down at the South Boston 200, came away with a podium in that race. Finished third, 5.3 seconds behind race winner Ashton Crowder. Worth noting, Crowder not present here this afternoon, so we will not be getting a repeat winner from the Sobo 200.
No, it does not appear that way, unfortunately. Had a great chance to talk with Ashton after his win, and you got to feel the emotion and the celebration from him and his family who was watching from the living room. They had the Green Flag TV broadcast pulled up, and we're celebrating with him. But right now, Jacob Hefner is on a good run here. And let's see what he can do this time by a 15.8 the first time. So he's definitely locked in I would say the feature based on that time. And yep, the first one was definitely faster.
So at this point, if you qualify 10th or above, you're guaranteed safe in because there's not enough drivers to bump you all the way down and out of the fight. So 11th on down, not safe. Skylar Dixon on up R. Wesley Burke, the next driver to take to the racing surface here at the Harry King Law Langley Speedway. Headed down 1, 2, 1, and 2. That car looked loose going into turn number 3, but that could help him greatly here. 15.898. That bumps Kyle Dumas out. Adam Holston, now the driver on the bump with a 15.928.
Again, these drivers say they want these cars loose. They keep saying that, and they keep getting frustrated. They say that the sets provided by iRacing really aren't loose. They're very, very tight, and so they love anything that will loosen up these race cars, whether it's hot temps, getting below a yellow line, or whatever they got to do. They want those loose race cars. Here comes the 20. This is Cody Anderson, the 17th. The Roman numerals are right? Yeah.
Your Roman numerals are indeed
correct.
What
do you think happened to the first 16 of them? Do you think they're like hidden in the closet somewhere? What do you think happened to the... If you're the 17th, there were 16 more before you.
I can't imagine being John Smith 32 on iRacing. Imagine that.
Oh, I've seen 100. You know what name it was? I've seen up to the hundreds on a couple of those names.
Oh yeah. Not enough for Cody Anderson. Anderson, a driver familiar with appearances on Green Flag TV back when we were covering the OMSRL Cup and Gold Series. Was a regular midfield runner in those with the B-Class cars and the Cup cars. Today, 15.988, 21st out of 30 so far on the boards. Brian Miller, the next one up.
Yeah, Bryson Miller next up here on the board, and he'll bring that kind of Wood Brothers looking machine on around. The 17, not the number per se, but the kind of the red and white with the gold number really put me in kind of like a Wood Brothers kind of mood there.
Bryson Miller finished 8 laps down in the South Boston 200, 17th for Tom Hersey Racing. Seeing if he can't get a better performance here today. 15.941 for Bryson Miller. 20th place, not a bad place to start, but needs to improve by at least another 12 thousandths if he wants to get into the top 18. And
crazy to think, isn't it?
He got it just barely, but he got it. Not safe.
It's crazy to think that when we started today, we thought sub 16s was a good time. We thought that's how much this can shift as the day goes on. You know, sub 16s was the goal, and now the goal is almost like sub 15.9 if you want to have it. Kyle Terziak's next up on the board here in that 15 car. I'm pulling around here, and something about this race I think we're going to talk about a lot more in the heats and under race conditions, Nolan. This race is going to be exhausting, not because it's a short track, although it is, not because you'll be on the brakes all day, although you are, but really there's no time to stop turning here. There is no time to stop and think about what you're doing. And speaking of stopping and thinking, stop and think about Kyle Terziak just taking the pole, because he did a 15.707 on a late entry here. So all that thoughts I had about wanting to go first, well, Kyle Terziak just proved me wrong.
And he doesn't even bother with the second lap. He is 400ths clear of the next closest time. That is insane running there for Terziak. Now, he failed to finish the South Boston 200, ended up 67 laps down, officially classified 27th in that race. Boy, what a way to come back with force, right? You DNF from the first of the Triple Crown races, going straight back to take the provisional pole in the second one. Talk about putting the field on notice. You're not playing around anymore.
No, not playing around at all. But Devin Lyons here, beautiful car, sort of the orange and blue represent a few things to me. So the New York Knicks came to mind, or the Syracuse Orangemen both come to mind. But great numbers, but not a great run, because that 24 is up in the wall pretty hard. So this first lap is invalid. Now what you gotta do is you gotta reset yourself as a driver. You go, okay, listen, that happened, and I'm mad, but I want to set a time here. So you just come around again and see if you can at least set one lap time that's valid in the system.
I don't know if he's going to get the chance to do that, though, as you're going to look at that right front not looking pretty there, Derek. Look at how bent in that is. Absolutely will be having some handling damages for him. Yeah, sure enough, 17 seconds. Yeah, he's going to have to race his way, not even in the heats, but from the back of the heats to boot. Yep.
And luckily for him, he'll get a new race car to do that with when we come over to the heats in just a few moments. 027 will be up next, but right now it's the 8. of Dustin Lewis. He's out there in the old Dale Jr. Budweiser looking car, the red with the white 8 on it.
Dustin Lewis did attempt the race at the South Boston 200. I do not believe he actually made it in, though. And checking my notes here, can't confirm. He did not manage to make the show for that race. It was a race where the top 6 were set to race it in, and, well, he failed to finish within the top 6 of that one. So it was a tough break for Dustin Lewis. Qualified 31st today, but needed to find some more efforts on it if he wants to get in there.
Yeah, so wait and see how he does here today. Again, a 16.123 is not going to cut it, nor is that 16.126. So he'll need to race his way in yet again into the main race.
Dylan Barris, 15.922, the driver currently on the bump. 2 drivers potentially left to qualify, Matthew Scott and Bryson Brinkley, neither of which have reported to the end of pit road. So
yeah, both have been called by race control, so we're just waiting to see if either one is going to be available.
Yeah. And if they aren't, I do believe that renders them ineligible to race.
Well, the 0.24, if he's here, will be the last car. Other car was just been ruled out, but here's some 0.24. He's the last car to take a time here in qualifying.
So Bryson Brinkley will bring it up, give it another shot here. Give it the old college try, as they say. See him working heat into those tires and into the brakes as our final qualifier will make his way to the circuit.
No pressure for Bryson Brinkley. You know exactly what you got to do. It's a 15.95 or better, I would say, probably. If I would feel comfortable on the last car, I want to pad that number a little bit. But here we go. Oh, that's it. That's definitely good. A 15.825. That's more than good for Bryson Brinkley, and he will be in the feature.
So Turzak, Johnson, Tyser, Lane, Brinkley, Hefner, Elvis, Burke, Ruggles, Vaughn, Gleitzman, Austin, Dixon, Hubbard, Marinko, Brinkley, Calkins, and Miller all in the show. The remaining drivers will need to wait before they will be able to go racing here this afternoon. Huge effort for Kyle Turzak, the driver of the number 15, taking the pole award here this afternoon and winning $25 in doing so. We're going to bring Kyle Turzak up now to give him a chat here in the booth. Kyle, what an effort going from being knocked out of the race at the South Boston 200 to pole position this afternoon. Could not have asked for a better qualifying appearance from you.
Yeah, South Boston was kind of one I want to forget, right? So coming in here, trying to get as many points as I can and just trying to get, back into it. So, glad we get the pole. This is just one step. We got a long way, 200 laps here at Langley. So hopefully we can just stay out front and bide our time and go get us a W.
You, of course, took a 15.707 and didn't even bother with the second lap here at this point. What's going to be the game plan for you here on the afternoon? Do you have a plan, or is it just to see what the heat races bring and take notes for the main event?
Yeah, like you said, just the heat races, right? We got 4 of them or something like that, so just got to watch them, see how it races, and I'm just going to run my race. Like I said, it's 200 laps, so we got plenty of time just to see where everything goes, but hopefully we can, keep up front and, keep track position, right? South Boston, I lost track position. I was like second or third, something like that. And right after that, went to the back, and that's when I got wrecked. So just got to keep some track position and try and stay up front as much as I can. And if we could do that, I feel like we could pull away with a good result.
Well, it's been a good effort so far, but there's still a long race ahead of you. We'll wish you the best of luck. We'll let you get set up for the 200 laps that'll be coming up in hopefully within the next hour or so. And we'll wish you the best of luck in the Hampton Heat.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Kyle Turzak, number 1 here on the qualifying sheets. And, Derek, it's just about time for us to get running for heat race number 1 in just a moment.
Yeah, race control was telling the drivers, and we're going to get right up into the heat races. And these are 25 laps or 20 minutes, whichever happens first. I think in our last event, we saw a little bit of both, if I recall correctly. So I'm hoping for the lap count, not for the timer myself, but we'll see how it works out.
You and me both. I think we're all hoping for the timer to be the one that kind of plays into a factor here this afternoon, but we are ready to rumble. So let's get this show on the road as heat race number 1 coming at you here on Green Flag TV. Starting number 1 on the grid, it's going to be Dylan Barris. He starts first place alongside Adam Holston down to the number 2 spot. Row 2 on the grid for heat race 1, Zachary Mertez. He is alongside Tyler Clark down in 4th. Row 3, Jeffrey Johnson lines up alongside Cody Troyer, with row 4 containing Tyler Hilton and Dave Billings. And only 9 cars for the opening heat of the night. It's Devin Lyons bringing up the tail end of the field.
9 cars for 25 laps, lots of time and opportunity to make the moves happen. So what we're going to learn here in these first couple heat races, everyone should be watching, whether this is your heat race or not, whether you made it into the feature or not. Watch these heat races. You're going to learn a lot about this track, about this setup, about how it's grooved in. Is passing an opportunity? Are you going to use the bumper to make a pass? You know, where are the trouble spots when racing? Listen, it's one thing to go out and set a really fast time, and that is definitely a skill, but there's not always a correlation between fast times in qualifying and fast times in a race.
9 cars making their way out to the track here on the afternoon, and like you and I were both saying, Derek, it's going to be a hotly contested race out there, but thankfully with 9 cars, should go by a little bit quicker than the 25 lapper for the South Boston 200 did. But that's not to say these guys aren't going to be fighting for the rest of this race either, right? It is still a race where some drivers will be sent packing. Only the top 4 make it to the show. So the field will gear up. So we get set to go racing here on the afternoon. Going to be a fun afternoon as racers try to get themselves up and rolling. And we'll see who's going to be starting where at the end of racing action here tonight. Coming around, turn numbers 3 and 4. Heat race number 1 officially going to be not underway. The pace car didn't pull off the track.
No,
caught me off, just like it did at South Boston.
Yep, so there's into 1 lap here, but there's some changes we're talking about live from race control. Looks like this has been cut down to 2 heat races instead of 3. That's why there's 9 cars in here. And so 4 cars will advance out of these 9. So just a little under half the field is going to advance the feature. So 18 plus 4 plus 4, that is 26 cars. You know, I was in math class and you say, when am I going to use this? You'd ask that your teacher. Little did I know, 40 years later, I'd be in a sim racing broadcast trying to count mental math in the air. All right, try it again, Nolan. Nope. We're still counting.
So we're even 1-1 on missed green flag calls this time.
Yeah, no, that's...
Does it count double if we miss the actual green flag?
Yeah, now we just keep talking over it. Like, yeah, in high school math, I didn't, then you just missed the whole green flag at this point. No.
These lower shots really show just how flat this circuit is, and it's a tight little venue as well. Coming around 3 and 4 for the 4th time. See if maybe this time we'll get the green flag. This time the pace car is off. Heat race 1 of 2 underway.
And the pace car was competing.
Top 4 make it into the show as everybody hightails it down the back straightaway and into turn numbers 3 and 4. Dylan Barris leading the way at the end of lap number 1.
Gets it pulled away. He has no traffic around him. No one side by side to hold him up. So he'll pull away pretty quickly here. But look at the battle on back. Probably 3rd on back on the track here. That'll be Jeffrey Johnson, Adam Holston, Tyler Leclerc, all back here fighting for that spot. Remember, it's P4 is the transfer.
P4 for that transfer spot. Right now, Tyler Clark holding on to it in that number 33. Cody Troyer racing his way into the 5th place position. Want to see if he can't find some improvement. Sideways a little bit behind was Tyler Hilton off the inside. Still side by side with Adam Holston for 6th, but 6th place is not going to get you any credit here. And Holston, I think, going to let Hilton go to see if they can't run down Troyer and others. Troyer is hunting Leclerc.
Yeah, sometimes you're going to have to do that. You're going to have to let someone go and kind of get in line and wait and make the pass later. So the more time you spend side by side, you're possibly letting people go up ahead of you. And again, These camera shots are doing a great job, whether it be on board or those cameras just outside the walls, showing just how flat. Again, it's 2 degrees of banking on the front and the back straight, 6 degrees of banking in these corners. That is essentially none. This will be one of the harder tracks we'll do all year to get these cars to rotate properly.
What a tough break for Adam Holston, dropping down 5 positions in the opening run. Started well up the order. What in the world happened to Holston to see him drop from what would have been second place all the way down to 7th in just the opening 6 laps?
Yep. Might have been just a bad start, maybe missed a gear and fell back here. But listen, in these races, you and I both know we've seen some weird things happen. So who knows where he finishes up here and if he can make it in that top 4. But if not, it's top 4 or go home for these drivers.
Once again, for those just tuning in, top 18 are already guaranteed in the show. As the 33 of Leclerc and Johnson racing this one out for 4th and 3rd. Right behind them, Cody Troyer being patient and trying to find an opening.
By the way, I just want to give you an idea how tough these corners are. We use the term 6-degree banking, and I was trying to find a reference point for that, Nolan. The best I can find for you, maybe even a better one, Martinsville, 12 degrees of banking in the corner. So think about just taking that Martinsville corner and cutting half of the banking out of that corner. That's where you are in the corners here at Langley.
And for a moment, the 122 actually made contact with the 27 as they came around. Troyer cutting Jeffrey Johnson. Bit of a break as Leclerc makes his way up into 3rd. Top 2 of Zachary Mertes and Dylan Barris have pulled out almost a full second over the field behind. So still have a long way to go. We're only about halfway home through heat race number 1 of 2 on the afternoon. But these guys are still racing just as close as they were 10 laps ago.
Yeah, but what's starting to concern me is to watch this racing happen on the track, and maybe with more cars in the feature, it'll get better. But, I mean, we're single filed, and it feels like the only passing you can make here is either waiting for the guy in front of you to make a mistake or to use that chrome horn and kind of make them make a mistake. I hope that's not the case. I hope this track kind of livens up with more laps on it, but right now it is sort of a single file parade here at this track.
Oh, look out as sideways into the grass for Tyler Hilton and Adam Holston just a little ways down the field. They had a bit of a close shave. High store main on Jeffrey Johnson trying to hold on for the final transfer spot while Tyler Leclerc is just running away for the 3rd place spot. In fact, Leclerc actually catched up to Mertes and Dylan Barr, so he could be a threat for a heat race win here.
Maybe he is halfway through, by the way, halfway done here. And if Dylan Barris, it's the best news you can hear. Then you're already halfway done and looking to possibly secure. Remember, this is winning the first heat. This was basically secure him spot 19 on the grid for the feature.
Oh, in trouble back straightaway. Around
caution.
goes Devin Lyons. And that will bring the yellow flag out for the first time here this afternoon. Lyons has just gone 1 lap down.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Devin Lyons.
Well, so the Dylan Barrs will make his way onto the racetrack. Let's get a look at what happened here to Devin Lyons. I'm willing to bet this was all by himself here, Derek, as he drives her into turn numbers 1 and 2.
He's going to get way too high. Watch this. I think no. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Back in. Oh, he clipped the wall. That'll do it.
The wall kind of helped him a little bit. His car's still not really around here. What happens eventually? He going to ride the wall Ross Chastain style. This has been a long
that was 4 laps before the initial incident. I think he had some damage that I think eventually sent the car around.
Maybe got a little too happy on the throttle and the backing came around, and caution is out.
So we'll restart with 7 laps to go in heat race number 1. Again, for those just tuning in that might be unfamiliar with the format, caution laps do not count. Lyons trying to beat the pace car off pit road. I don't think he got it. I think he's going to be forced to get back in line. Yeah, he just got slapped with an end of the longest line penalty for that one. Exiting a closed pit road.
Well, that's going to be okay. That means he beat the pace car out. So that's At this case, that penalty doesn't really mean anything to him. With all due respect, he was already going to be end of line. But if he got caught for exiting pit road and end of line, that means he probably beat the pace car for pit road. In fact, I would be willing to bet. Actually, I'm going to take a wild guess here. I know we don't always get confirmation of the penalties. I bet that penalty is not so much a closed pit. I bet that's a speeding penalty, so he could beat the pace car for pit road. I might have done that once or twice in my career.
Well, he'll drop to the tail end of the field. Everybody else getting back in line as we will get set to restart this heat race. 7 to go. And what this does is it gives Cody Troyer a good chance to jump for that final transfer spot. Green flag is in the air, and Troyer's already into the fourth place spot, but black flags being given to Leclerc and Troyer.
Much different start. By the way, restart under review. The word that just came out from Race Control. I'm not sure what for. We'll wait and see if what comes in. Or should they think someone jumped the start? We'll wait and find out in a moment here. But that is under review.
No!
We just saw a big dive bomb attempt in the back of the field. It did not go well.
No, you talk about going poorly. Jeffrey Johnson clipped the edge of pit road. He has a black flag for an unsafe pit entry now. He just did it again. I did not catch that.
You're right. No.
Like, come on, what are you doing, man? You got to, focus on those green cones. You can't cut through them.
Yep. So wait and see what comes out, if anything. And he's now asking Race Control to clear it for him. We'll see if that happens.
I doubt they will. It's his own mistake, and he did it twice over.
His problem is, remember, it's only 3 laps to serve it. He needs to serve it now, or he's going to miss it. Oh, there's the actual Devin Lyons wreck, by the way.
No, that was just now under green. Somehow
that's a new one.
Yeah,
okay.
that was not a yellow flag, and Tyler Clare giving a bump to the back of Dylan Barris, coming to 2 to go. Hits him again.
Restart is good.
Leclerc and Dylan Barris going at it, and Leclerc has hit Barris 2 or 3 times now as he tries to go for the heat race win. Zachary Mertez into third, and Barris is going to get taken out the way this is going. White flag in the air for heat race number 1, and will Leclerc send Barris around?
Trying to run it high.
He's going to go for it. Gives him another shot to the shorts. It's not enough. Dylan Barris, winner of heat number 1. Leclerc, Mertez, Troyer will all be in to the main event. Everyone else sent packing.
We'll take a look at the results here. It says Dylan Barris up P1 with Tyler Leclerc, Zachary Mertez, and Cody Troyer. That's your 4 advancers. Those not making it: Adam Holston, Dave Billings, Jeffrey Johnson, Tyler Hilton, and Devin Lyons. They will go home P5 through 9 in this race.
And that means 9 more to go for heat race number 2 here on the afternoon. And it's going to be Luke Barnes, number 1 on the field. Kyle Jamas will be 2nd place. Row 2. It's going to be Cody Anderson, the 17th, running this one in 3rd alongside Scott Shive in 4th. Row 3, Max Dinda will race against Garrett Caswell. And then finishing out the field, it's Dustin Eric Lewis Jr. alongside James Sturdivant. And then back end of the field is the 027 of Matthew Scott. Scott, of course, was ejected earlier in this one as a result of connection issues. And he has not made the call for the 2nd heat.
So your odds just went up a little bit if you're in this heat. You're using 8 cars and just going to survive the top half in order to make it in here. So we'll wait and see what happens. We'll wait for the pace laps to count off here as we wait for the word from Race Control. Barney the flagman will have the green flag here, but now the question in my head is I wonder what these drivers learned. What did they learn? Did they learn you have to be more aggressive in your passing? Or did they find something that we didn't see as far as a line to take or a way to move the car? I don't know. I'm excited to see how much Heat 2 is different than Heat number 1.
8 cars, yet again, top 4 will advance into the main event here this afternoon. It's going to be an interesting performance here from the pack as they will work their way into turn numbers 3 and 4. Got a little bit dicey near the end of heat race number 1. See if it's any different for the second. Waiting for the green flag to drop, and we're underway for heat 2. And around already is Cody Anderson at the tail end. He'll be dropped outside of the spots, and Anderson to the back.
To the back and cutting some grass is Cody Anderson, so he'll fall back in the field here. Cautions out here very quickly. So, you know, typically when we watch these heat races, Nolan, it always feels like they're very different. There's different personalities to them. And while the first heat race took a long time to find our first caution, this one happened pretty quickly. Watch Anderson here in the bottom of the 20. He's going to touch the curbing, gets his tires down there, and just got the car a little too loose and got ran over by the 48.
That was Max Dinda that struck the back of the number 20 entry there. Let's ride on board with Dinda on what he saw.
He's going to see the car turning in front of him. Watch this here. The car's just going to start to turn around, and nowhere Dinda can go. Turns forward, and he's going to bump back to that car. Couldn't go high, couldn't go low, and that's where it ended up.
Less than one green flag lap in the books. Here's something interesting. Dinda came down pit road to put fresh tires onto his car.
I'm going to guess he came down to check the damage in the car and just forgot to uncheck the tires. I'm all for new tires. I love new tires, but I can't imagine that a quarter lap newer tires would do anything for you.
Well, you never know. He could give him that little bit of extra oomph that he needs. There is one set of tires available for all drivers in the main event, critically for that one. Luke Barnes, Kyle Dumas running second and third for the moment.
By the way, choose cone rules in effect for the heats here. So we're going to watch the choose happen here. And Rachel told him, you just have to be definitively making a decision here. If you can't tell, I'll penalize you. So far, so good for the 8 reps. Everyone made it very clear what lane they wanted to be in.
So far, so good. A couple drivers to get caught for that at the South Boston 200. We'll see if it'll be any different later on this afternoon. As we get set to get this show back on the road, heat race number 2. Set to kick off once more. Out of the final corner, green flag's back in the air.
Let's try it again. Let's see if the second verse is any different than the first here. We got side by side with Dumas and Barnes through turns 1 and 2. Maybe the best restart we've seen of the couple so far as the outside sticking to the inside.
Luke Barnes, Kyle Dumas getting clear for the lead, side by side and making contact is Scott Shive and Garrett Caswell. Caswell at the track into the outside wall. That lets Dustin Lewis attack down the inside into turn numbers 3 and 4. Going for the final transfer spot. Lewis now pushes the 87 up and wide.
Not quite yet, though, because they're still side by side with the 887. They're going to keep duking it out here. It's going to be a good fight between these cars to see who comes out where.
Getting clear is Dustin Lewis, but he did make contact with Garrett Caswell, so might expect a bit of shall we say, some repayments here. Although Dustin Lewis going to be cut a little bit of a break there for the first little while. Caswell hot on Lewis's heels, though, and still has plenty of ground left to run.
Yeah, plenty of time left here on the board here. And let's see how this race turns out here. Again, everything's kind of calmed down now for the most part, knock on wood. Pretty single file, kind of just higher, faster pacing laps here. So this is going to be a story all night on those restarts where you get them, Nolan. You're going to have to be aggressive because it looks like very quickly this turns into a track that's very difficult to pass on.
It's never an easy place to race, that's for sure, as there's Luke Barnes. Still holding on to the lead, but Kyle Dumas has not let Barnes go either. He has been hounding the tail end of that number 26 for the last few laps. Excuse me, the last few laps or so.
These two guys really have kind of got off back in their own little area code back here, just trying to fight it out and have a good time and race. And This whole field's kind of spread. I mean, I guess it's only 3/10 back to the leader, but then it's almost a second back to third, a second back to fourth, and then it kind of just varies time and time on back here. So you see the biggest gainers in this race right now. You'll see there that your car in P4 is up the most spots.
Barnes still hanging on. Kyle Dumas hot on his heels, and he's not the only driver having to worry because right behind them, Dustin Lewis has just been moved out wide. Caswell to the inside, trying to go over the final transfer spot. It was a bumper in turn 3. Contact again as Caswell forces the issue into the 4th place spot.
Wow, we saw this contact in the first heat, but it wasn't until much later that we saw this contact. It wasn't until roughly, I would say, 10 to go before we saw this contact the last time.
Dustin Lewis for C4 Racing, hot on the heels, though, of Caswell, but he's going to slip up at wide. I think he's burned up his equipment because now Cody Anderson wants to try to find a way to get around him on the inside line.
Yeah, everybody wants to get around here, this 8 car, and we'll see if they can find their way up ahead in the field. But the 8 car is doing a good job of trying to kind of block whatever happening. But you can see in the corners he's riding a little bit higher than the cars behind him. And now this other car is about to come in and swoop in, and this will be a great side-by-side battle.
The only problem is neither of these guys are in the show, and Lewis is into the wall. Dinda will now take that run down the inside and secure the pass. Lewis trying to fight back, but I don't think that car's got any pace left in it. I think he's very well had it. Now the question is, can Cody Anderson find a way to close in 0.4 of a second to get around Caswell in just 9 laps?
Lots of good racing happening. Your top 4 right now on the track. Barnes, Dumas, Silva, and Caswell are the 4 that are currently locked in here in less than 10 laps. Now down to single digits here to come around the track here. Taking 8 to go, Nolan. Now this is about where the caution came up for the first time in the first heat. We've already had our caution in this heat, so maybe we'll skip that one.
We'll have to see. It could still go either way. Depends what Anderson does. Anderson did not have a good qualifying outing, and he knows he needs to find something here if he wants to get around Caswell. He's looking for the inside. He's been saving up those tires all race long. Now he started to use them. He's got the nose in, trying to look for the inside groove. Tracking up from the inside, not able to clear him.
Yeah, not able to clear. That's been the theme of the night, though. I feel like between both heat races, that's been our theme, was unable to pass, unable to clear. And what I'm scared of as we get into the main feature, Nolan, I'm scared that means using the chrome horn to make your passes.
Pretty good odds of it. I mean, we've seen that be the case throughout the entirety of the South Boston 200. That's how the majority of those incidents came about. Caswell, a poor exit out of turn number 4. Lets Anderson get right to the back bumper. Again, looking for the inside line. Still no joy between the two. This is allowing Max Dinda to close in the gap.
Again, the gap is interesting. I get what you're saying, but can anyone do anything with the gap they have? Here's a pass option to the inside. Let's see if we can make the pass happen. I might have been proven wrong right here in this moment.
Anderson's got the bottom as James Sturdivant led him by the traffic on the low side of the racetrack. Can Sturdivant clear? Yes, he does. So Cody Anderson gets around Caswell for the final transfer spot. Will Caswell look to send him for a ride? White flag in the air for heat race number 2. Coming down the back straightaway is Luke Barnes. Scott Shive will move Kyle Dumas out of the way. Barnes with the win in heat number 2. Then it's Shive, Dumas, and the battle for the final transfer. It'll go the way of Cody Anderson. Oh my goodness, what an effort.
Wow. Well, both heats featured a caution just in different spots. Both heats featured hard to pass moments in this track. And so we'll wait and see how that plays into our main feature race. We're going to get there from a small break first. We're going to talk to our heat winners and have a small break before we get into that time window.
What a race that we had throughout both of our heat races here this afternoon. And that really goes to show just how incredible it's going to be for the race here on the afternoon. Let's talk first and foremost with Dylan Barris, the driver that took home the win in heat race number 1 on the day. And it was a close race as well, Dylan, as you were just able to get the run in and take the win for the opening heat of the night. Talk us through that one, because that was quite the journey you had throughout those 25-lap run.
Yeah, it kind of just felt like I was just conserving that whole time, just trying to protect the bottom, keep them behind me.
Kind of talk us through what it was like through qualifying. Obviously, qualifying, you had the challenges that had to see you race your way into the main event. But now that you're here, does the game plan change at all from here to the main?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to save and try not to wreck the car. So, not all.
Overall aspirations, where do you see yourself in that 017 finishing by race's end?
Hopefully in the top 10.
Sounds like a solid plan to me, Dylan. Congratulations on taking the win in heat race number 1 and making your way into the main event. And we'll see where you finish at the end of 200 more laps here in the Hampton Heat.
All right, thank you, guys.
Dylan Barris, number 1 on the day. And then it is Luke Barnes bringing up the heat race winner of heat number 2. Derek, you're standing by with him.
Got the winner of the most recent heat here, Luke Barnes. And Luke, what a great run for you. You got up front and just stayed up there. You made it look easy. Was it easy?
It ended up being pretty easy. I started out the run entering the corner too low. Started to change my corner up. Could have ran that line in qualifying. I think I would have qualified a little bit better, but all in all, tires held up pretty well there and was able to run away with it.
So now as we get into the main race here in a few minutes, and as time progresses on and the track begins to cool off, what's going to be different, you think, in this track? Is it going to be harder to pass, slower lap times, faster lap times? What are you looking at?
I think the track is going to cool off and it's going to be a little bit faster. It's always been a track that's hard to pass at. So I think everybody's going to be jumbled up here at the start, but everybody's going to want to go because their car feels good.
So the good news is you won the heat. You'll start P20 on the grid. The bad news is you're P20 in the grid. How do you manage this to make sure your car stays safe and gets up front?
We're just going to take our time. We got 200 laps, and we're just going to ease on up there, let everybody make up mistakes in front of us, and try to get through it clean.
All right, well, I hope to see you do get through it clean. Maybe we'll talk with you later. Luke Barnes, congratulations on winning Heat 2, and we'll talk with you soon.
Thank you.
All right, well, that is Luke Barnes, and he sounds pretty optimistic here, Nolan, about the future, and sounds pretty optimistic about his chances in this race.
Looking like it's going to be yet another fantastic run here this afternoon. 200 laps of race into the Hampton Heat coming up here in short order as we get set to get this race on the road. Quick look at what's coming up here on Green Flag TV. Tonight as well, you also have the Blades Pedals Truck Series as well as the Motor City Racing IMSA Championship making its return here in racing action today. High Tide Racing League action will be back out at Richmond this coming Monday as well. Silver Fox Racing Late Model Stock Championship will be back for more at Bristol, alongside more here on Green Flag TV. 200 laps of racing just around the corner in the Hampton Heat. You're watching the Mystic Racing League Triple Crown on Green Flag TV. We will be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV, where racing action is about to kick off in earnest here at the Harry King Law Langley Speedway as we get set to go racing for round number 2 of the Mystic Racing League Late Model Triple Crown. Once again, my name is Old Rambo. Joining alongside me tonight throughout all of the action is Derek Watson, and what a race it has been so far. 2 heat races are down, and we will have 2 more to go. Not 2 more heat races, sorry, but 200 more laps of racing. 30 cars have been qualified in top 18 from the Q session, and then 8 more from the heats. So it will end up being just a 26-car race here on the afternoon as we get set to get this show rolling here for the green flag. Time to get the party started as the warm-up session will draw to a close. And coming up, it is the main event for the Hampton Heat from the Langley Speedway. Starting on pole position, it's going to be Kyle Terzak alongside Ethan Johnson. Row number 2 on the grid going to be Hunter Tyser and Toby Lane. Row number 3 going to be Bryson Brinkley alongside Jacob Hefner. Row 4 holding Brandon Elvis alongside Wesley Burke. Top 10 then, it'll be Cameron Ruggles with Colby Vaughn. And Derek, you've got the next 10.
I do. It's going to be Gavin Gleitzman in P11 with Lucas Austin outside in P12. P13 is Skylar Dixon with Noah Hubbard back there in P14. P15, you'd find Brody Carrico, and he's got Jordan Blaze Brinkley next to him back in P16. P17 is Dylan Calkins, and he's got Bryson Miller next to P18. And then P19 is Dylan Barris, and he's got Luke Barnes. Luke Barnes back in P20.
And continuing on down to the field from there, it'll be Tyler Clark in 21st, Scott Shive in 22nd, Zachary Mertes 23rd, Kyle DeMoss 24th, Cody Troyer and Cody Anderson 25th and 26th. Then we will have Adam Holston along with Garrett Caswell, Dave Billings, and Max Dinda bringing up the rear of the grid for a 30-car grid on the afternoon. And, well, Derek, the field rolling out from the Harry King Law Langley Speedway. There will be 1 competition yellow right around lap 100 to give drivers the chance to change tires. Your final thoughts as we get set to go racing for the Hampton Heat.
It's going to be aggressive. I think everyone's learned from these first 2 heat races. You already saw the P3 car trying to jump the start here. Paints car is going to make the quick. No, but I got faked out again. I'm now 2-1 here on Paints car fake outs. No, it's going to be aggressive tonight. It's going to have to be aggressive. We saw in both heats. It's hard to pass here. Now, this will be different at first. This is our first time having all the cars on the track. The 2-wide racing will provide for a little bit different racing at first. But I think ultimately when we're all said and done, 200 laps later, or 3 hours later, whichever happens first, the final pass will be made by using the bumper.
It would not surprise me to tell so many races here at the Langley Speedway have come to a close, as we'll get one more pace lap in before we get this show on the road. We are going to be coming in here with a 30-car main event, and Derek, everyone is excited to see how this race will pan on out here on the afternoon. Lights still on. We will be going at least 1 more lap here on the afternoon. Now we get to see what drivers like Kyle Terzak can do. What do you reckon? Terzak ran away from the field of qualifying. Will he do the same in the main event?
That'd be the great question here. By doing these extra pace laps, race control is doing all the rules with the drivers, reminding about restart zones. Again, the competition caution at lap 100. And everything's going to happen. Remember, on the initial start here, it is on Barney the flagman. That green flag will wave. That will start the race. On future restarts, we'll get to them later if we need them. Those rules are a little different, including a choose cone and more. But this is going to be an exciting first couple laps. Happy you're along for the ride here. Happy I'm here, Nolan. This is going to be a great race here. 200 laps at Langley Speedway.
Track is cooled by over 20 degrees, meaning it's a very different surface from when these drivers were out there and qualifying. But we're ready to get the party started as It'll be in the hands of Martin the Flagman. Green flag's out. We're racing for the Hampton Heat in Virginia.
Oh, Terzak way down below that yellow line, got some grip down there and got that car up ahead. He's quickly pulled ahead here of Ethan Johnston, and we're underway as we're just about to complete our first lap.
Lap 1 in the books. Everyone else trying to funnel after him as the pack is going to be having a stellar effort from here on the afternoon. Looking at the first pack of double file, it's Wesley Burke and Brandon Elvis side by side up top.
Lots of great racing happening. This is the kind of racing these guys have been craving all night long. It's much different when there's 28 or 30 of you on a racetrack versus there is when there's only 8 of you. But never mind, caution's out for the first time. We'll wait and see what the cause of it is. But I heard the call come out across race control radio. Caution is out on the racetrack.
I believe something to do with Cody Anderson and potentially Adam Holston as well. We'll try to get a look back at this one. Would have been into turn number 1 on the day. This would have been towards the tail of the field. Let's take a look back.
The 87 is who we're going to take a look at here on the bottom. That's that black, purple, and yellow machine. He's just going to get into the back end of the car up ahead. Got him turned around, and then, then he also got rear-ended for good purpose, and there's your first caution. So 87 is deemed to fault by race control in this first wreck.
Interesting. I would have thought it would have been the car that hit him from behind that would have been at fault, but not race control.
I actually think because the 87 hits the car in front of him and spins that car around. If you watch here, I mean, him getting rear-ended is sort of a cause and effect of him having to slow up for the wreck he created. I think that's probably the right call.
Oh, was the 87 the one that got black flagged?
Yes, the 80.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said 77. I was like, he got spun. I don't know why he would be getting penalized for it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Fair call.
The lights here, Nolan, if we come around and we watch the start-finish line, you can see it under the lights here at the track. There's a black seam right towards the middle of this track. That's what race control is calling out. That is going to be the choose line. Yes. So I guess that'll be up here around again, maybe. I didn't see it the first time. But where's that black seam?
Pace car's on it right now.
Yep, that's the black seam. That is the choose line. You have to choose before that and around that. The only car that does not get to choose is the 87. He got caught causing the caution. He has to go to the longest line.
It's very convenient black seam, isn't it? Whoa, as the 191 of Dylan Calkins making a last-minute choice.
Guys are, yeah.
It is a very convenient seam, though.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it is, because these guys are getting spooked like it's a monster in a movie. I don't know.
Last of the chooses has been made, and we'll get set to do it again.
Easy to say that's the most exciting race we've had all night because that many cars at once. This provides a different dynamic on the track here. And 197 laps. I guess we haven't said yet in the broadcast, Nolan, we should. Caution laps also do not count in this main race. The lap count is frozen at that time. So luckily there's a 3-hour time limit on this server.
We didn't need to use it last time. We'll see if we'll see what the run is this time. Green flag back in the air. Kyle Terzak jumping away from the field early on. He said earlier his plan was to get out in front and stay out in front, making use of all the good track position. As everyone is 2 by sometimes close to 3 deeper in the field.
Yeah, this is not a place I don't want to be 3 wide, but you're right, they're getting close to it here in the moment and here on the track. And you see almost everyone in the bottom lanes using that yellow line here. But
trouble!
So up top there, they're 3 wide because someone ran someone up the track there.
Noah Hubbard got turned sideways. Somehow no caution for that as he hops the berm, getting back onto the circuit, and we stay green.
Noah Hubbard just went from doing short track racing to dirt road racing and iRacing there for a second.
No idea how this was not a caution, and we just had another one go around up towards the front. That was Colby Vaughn, and that will bring out the yellow flag. There you saw what happened to the 21 of Hubbard, and well, while we're here, we may as well look at what happened to Hubbard.
Wow, let's see what actually caused the caution here. That's what's next. Our next replay to take a look at here. They're nearly 3 wide, and
Vaughn got hit.
71.
And then, of course, the 191 got hit from behind because he was checking up for the incident. Oh, there was a few of them that piled into the melee there.
Yeah.
So it was really a giant concertina effect all the way through, it looked like. And then it's just one after another after another. Watch as the 7's going to check up here into the 71, into the 77.
I mean, it feels like it starts up. Wow. 77's even charged with the caution. I'm going to take your role here, Nolan. I actually highly disagree with this. I think that if you watch that replay, the checkups were coming from further up in the field, and it just sort of caught someone. I don't. You know from us working together in the High Tide Racing League. Let's watch the replay again. Watch. I mean, I get there's contact here. I'm not debating 77 hits to 71, but the checkups are happening, and I just don't know what he was supposed to do. I mean, I don't know. You know me from working with High Tide Racing together. You know, I'm not usually a fan of the word racing incident, but to me, if I was going to create like a racing dictionary, that might be a definition of a racing incident.
As the field going to commence with their choose cone or choose
what do you
seam.
think? Do you think the wreck kind of fell backwards, or do you think the 77 actually ran him over?
I think it fell backwards.
Okay.
It's one of those like awkward middle ground. Oh, that's gonna catch the ire.
That might be a problem.
That's Colby Vaughn, the car that got turned, and he crossed the seam and the line while he was at it.
If race control makes any call about that,
He got end of line pretty much immediately, it looks like.
By the way, talk about how short this track is. We just saw the end of the pacing line come around to do the choose, and here's the front of the line. So that gives you a quick idea of how short this track is, whether it be under caution, under yellow. There's not a lot of time here. If this thing stays green, do you think, Nolan, within 20 laps, I'd say, the front will catch the back?
It's not going to take long, but that requires us to go green, and so far we have not had a green flag run longer than 3 or 4 laps.
Race control still got a couple things they want to take a look at, so they're under review. We're going to stick under caution here for a moment.
And they just sent Vaughn to the tail for choose cone violations. And while he stuck way to the inside on that lap, I don't know if you get credit for that after the fact.
Give and take, the word from race control. I guess the words from race control. Give and take. That's what they're encouraging here the drivers to do as the pace car comes around yet again. And again, this doesn't help. You know, sometimes when you and I cover different series, High Tide or Premier Sim Racing or Speed Cup Series, we're talking about how these caution laps can really, affect a race. Here they don't. I guess maybe they affect the driver's mentality and that fatigue and the boiling point of a driver. But race-wise, we're technically frozen right now.
SPR, so the fact that Vaughn is still running in the 9th place spot in Dixon and 10th will not be updated until after we go back green, which will be right here. Kyle Turczak has gotten away from the field well the first 2 times. He's already clear by the time the hit start finish line the 3rd time. As everyone cruises away into the opening corners.
What an advantage that is for Turczak. I mean, think about the fact that Turczak's hitting it basically out of 4 when that restart zone happens. That means there's cars entering 3 when we go green. That's a much different speed-wise compared to the leader.
Much different speed-wise, but that's not to say that Ethan Johnson can't quickly run it down because he is all over the back of him now and wanted to try to find a way through for that race lead. So Johnson is right there and ready to the party thinking, you got 300s on me unqualified, but that doesn't mean anything in a race like this.
And apparently it doesn't because Ethan Johnson just set the fastest lap of the race at a 15.683, so he is trying his best to get this lead of this race away from Kyle Turczak, who's led every lap so far. Here we go now, working yet another lap here on this track. Of course, the lights are on here at the facility, and this place looks pretty nice in the dark.
It is. Did you know that in the real world, a lot of these lights are multicolored? They put full-blown light shows on during their major events.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. They have like a rainbow show. It's really nice.
Of course, this track has been around for a long time. At one point, for about, I think, 7 years, 14 races occurred here, using now what's called the NASCAR O'Reilly Series. Back then, the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series is run here. The Cars Tour still comes here every year, as well as this event right here, the Hampton Heat 200, is put on by the city of Hampton every year. So this track's still in good use. I know sometimes when we come to these short tracks in iRacing, Nolan, we always have to ask ourselves that question, does this place still exist? Well, this one does, and it's still thriving.
Flow Racing, of course, even produces their weekly racing program. So it is very much a track that is alive and well. Already the leaders over half a lap ahead of the back end of the field.
Yeah, I projected, I thought it'd be 20 laps if we could stay green, and that might be good here.
Here's the back of the field. Keep in mind, Johnson and Lane have a massive gap. Look at the gap from second to third here.
Yeah, it's just different. And that's just how fast they got clear. It's not necessarily a speed difference, weird enough. You look at the lap times between the cars. Last time by, I mean, it's maybe a tenth or two different, but the difference is just. Oh, hold on, caution's out again. I was saying the difference is just how fast they cleared the traffic around them and got in that straight line. But we'll come back to that. Caution's out again, and I see the camera's focused on the 87. I usually take that as a hint to what's upcoming. Let's watch the replay here and find out. The 87, of course, involved in that first wreck, and is he going to get what happened to him? I think it is. 71 is being charged with caution. And let's watch the 71's that blue and black car in the third, and your screen there in that 3. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to need a second replay on this, but I think, oh boy, I don't need a second replay for that. I don't think there was contact there. Now, whether that means the 87 just got loose in the zone, or whether we're going to use the net code word this early in the broadcast, I don't know. But I'm not convinced. I mean, now I'm really not convinced. There's no contact there, guys.
Well, this will be the definitive angle to show it. On board with Colby Vaughn. From spinny to spinner. I think he got him.
I don't. I'll tell you what. That's the best evidence. In the court case right now, that's your best camera angle. Let's watch up top. This will tell us for sure.
It'd be quite literally right underneath it,
and you know what?
I think he got him. Yeah, you see the spark. He got him all right.
Yeah, maybe.
Just a tiny bit, but that's all it takes.
Oh boy. No, you're right. I thought for sure it was going to be just air, and call stands. And I agree with the call. I was wrong. I was critical of it too. The call needs to go in that car. The ARCA brake in there, though. That's where the call needs to go. That's the stuff. I'll use that word. That's frustrating.
That was course
was out
towards the tail end of the field. A driver that ran into the melee. I believe it would have been the 22 of Cody Troyer.
The choose cone will be out when we're ready here. Watch this again. This will be the car that we believe is going to ARCA brake in. And
okay, admittedly, he had a car right in front of him, so he couldn't see him.
I'm only half buying it. You're right. He does have a car in front of me, but caution's out, guys. Especially in this race, field is frozen. It's worse than a typical NASCAR race we cover on the channel. Field's frozen. There's nothing to be gained here.
I mean, it's hindsight 2020 because you got to also consider the human reaction, right? Because realistically, it takes you at least half a second to register that the caution is out, and there was half a second that passed between that car jerking out of the way and plowing into the door.
Maybe.
Not to mention the spotter calls at short tracks are not the greatest on iRacing. Let's be honest.
I think spotter calls have gotten better. I'm with you. I get what you're saying. There's a car in the way. I still think it's avoidable. I really honestly do. And all right, well, let's line it up here. This is caution number 3 for those keeping count at home.
We lost count last time at South Boston.
Oh yeah. Let's keep the score at home. What's going to be higher? The number of cautions, or number of Marvel movies Nolan hasn't seen. We'll wait and find out. But green flag's back out again. The capacity of 9,000 fans on their feet. The light bulbs are flashing. And again, Tyler Terzak pulls away. But look at this battle for second, Nolan. It's Ethan Johnson and Toby Lane side by side. But Johnson leaves that inside lane, and I think he's going to pull clear.
Couple of drivers slapping the wall out of turn 2 last time. One again out of turn 4. That was the 7 of Wesley Burke that just side-slapped the fence. Not sure why, but evidently having some issues. A little bit of door-to-door contact there as well. So some drivers get a little bit argy-bargy with each other. The 04 of Hunter Tyser nearly going around.
Lots of
They are
contact
going around
happening here, and lots of contact, and someone is around and cautions out for the 4th time.
And that is Marinko.
That is Brody Marinko, or is the insane clown posse we're calling him the Great Marinko. There's a deep reference.
You see the field. Oh, that's cheeky from Ethan Johnson. He might have just taken the lead away. Okay, no, he gave it back. I was going to say, that's good sportsmanship from Kyle Terzak to at least slow up to allow that stranded car to maintain the lead lap.
All right, caution number 4. We'll wait for the replay and load up, and we'll see what happens here. Watch it again. And we could kind of hear this happen from a broadcast. We could hear the sounds of the cars crunching.
Oh, the 04 pushed the 17 into the 1.
Yep, that's in the 04 is exactly who's getting charged for the caution. The 04 pushes 17, which pushes the 1. The 1 goes around. And hey, you know what? Good news for these guys. Great job for these guys, I should say.
Yeah.
Everyone got around and avoided the 1 who was parked right in the middle of the corner.
That was absolutely fantastic wreck avoidance from the field here. Take another look at speed, and this will give you a more head-on shot. I mean, okay, a few, bits of bumper tag deeper down, but I think that's forgivable given the tight nature of the incident they were in. And it's better to give a light bumper tap than a head-on collision.
Well, 1's not moving yet. He's moving very slow. I guess he must have got pushed to the back of this line. All drivers are still on the lead lap according to race control. So no free pass. Choose cone. I think will be in effect as the pace cars coming by here.
That was Bryson Miller slow on the inside. Now, Bryson Miller was the car that got pushed in to Brody Marinko. And that would have been courtesy of the 07 entry.
I quipped right before we went green. I said the number of cautions or number of Marvel movies Nolan Ripple hasn't seen.
So I take offense to that, by the way. I actually am a Marvel fan, I'll have you know.
Okay, fair enough. Here, I'll send you a list and I'll talk and you can count and we'll see what the number needs to be.
You know what? That works for me.
Less talking you got to do. That probably does work for you. A second here.
Lights are out aboard the iRacing pace car. Looks like we might go green this time by. So our little counts game might have to wait for one more yellow here as coming around, it'll be 20 laps officially in the books. With 180 still on the docket, end of caution number 4 on the afternoon. Green flag is back out.
As Kurzak once again makes the very predictable big jump. It gets around. Ethan Johnson's going to hopefully make quick contact from his point of view of the car back in 3rd, and the battle begins back in 3rd and 4th. It's Toby Lane and Jacob Hether back here, and right quick again. The first pull, they have a restart under review, so let's wait and see what comes of that, who may or may not be in trouble, as we're still tightly packed through the field.
Bit of 3 wide there for a moment as well between the 54 and others as...
Yeah, still offset 3 wide. The 7 car's up high, and it's creating a problem for a second.
Man. Bryson Brinkley and Hunter Tyser cannot get off of each other's doors.
And you don't want to. That's the problem here. With how hard it is to pass here, you're insistent on not letting someone by, but the more you do that, the worse you're making everything for yourself. The worse you're wearing on those tires, the slower you're going, so on and so on and so on. But we're going to keep on going here and move back to the field. Almost saw a bit of contact again. And this could finally be the run, knock on wood, that starts to space out a little bit. We're getting to that single file parade lap line. Now, again, the problem with that parade lap, quote unquote, Nolan, is it's not going to be long before the head of the snake catches the tail of the snake. Restart still under review. No word yet on what Race Control is looking at, but they have made the announcement, Nolan. They are looking. So whether it's going to be if Kyle Turzak jumped to start or played with the throttle, I don't know if it's even him they're looking at. But we're still waiting for that moment. Here we go. A pass up under by the 21. Trying to get in there.
Overall, it's going to be quite the journey for this pack as there's Scott Shive still trying to work out a contact from behind as he gets hit by Lucas Austin.
Ooh.
And the 015 of Kyle Dumas still in the mix. Overall, the action has been, it's been stellar when we do get to go green. A lot of door-to-door action. Around going to go Cody Anderson, tail of the field. Caution is out.
That will serve as our longest green flag run of the night. Well, for East of the field at 172 to go. So officially we've done just about 30 laps under green here. So let's go through this. So I sent you a list that takes you all the way up through in-game. Now the order I sent you is in storyline order, not in cinematic release order.
Mm-hmm.
But where are you at?
I've seen every one.
Good for you. I'm very proud of you.
In fact, The Winter Soldier, several times. I actually saw that thing 5 times and it was in theaters alone.
Wow. There's not one. I've seen all of those. So that's the order I watched all those movies in when I did a marathon, but I've not seen any of them more than once. I think there's a couple I've missed post Endgame. But no, I'm caught up again.
Post Endgame, it's just a mess. That's where you have.
Buddy, let me tell you.
That's when you.
I know we're way off topic here. Spider-Man: Brand New Day. Chef's kiss.
Really? I've heard mixed things about it. I do plan on seeing it still. It's
great. Absolutely great.
We're in the era though where you need to really watch every single show, that's 6 hours long, to be able to catch up on what's going on.
Not this one. I would argue.
This one, really?
I would argue this one's going to set up. This one sets up. Okay, there's maybe one thing you would benefit from knowing, but you're not behind, if that makes sense. But this movie, hold on a second. Okay, Restart is good. Sorry, I'm going to come back to the topic for a second.
Okay,
but no,
of course.
This movie, I would say, it sets up the next era of Marvel, I would say. There's a couple reveals that'll, yeah, this is a good movie. All right, well, speaking of good movies and good moves, Kyle Turzak's had a great start every time, and I don't know what you do, Nolan, if you're any car here behind him. I don't know what you do. I mean, he's getting such great starts every time in that corner that I don't know how you're going to get around him when he starts, and unless you're literally going to ride his bumper and not give him the chance to jump to start. 04 car, by the way, that was his strike 2 as far as cautions caused tonight. That would be a drive-through penalty, by the way. That's going to hurt.
It hurts a lot. I mean, that could very easily mean at least 1 lap loss, potentially even more. But there's still a long way to go, so a lot of opportunities to bounce back from that penalty. Turzak still has the lead coming into turn numbers 3 and 4. Green flag back in the air.
Again, predictable. Another great start for Turzak. Another battle for 3rd and 4th. It seems to be the same, second verse, same as the first as far as the song goes. That's what we keep saying here. But the battle's on back here is what's making the race exciting. Look at them all packed in here like sardines in a can, trying to get everything out of this track they can. The track's cooling down. The lights are coming up. The tempers are getting hotter. And the 04 has to serve a drive-through penalty, so that's going to put him, we think, Nolan.
Oh,
hold on. There's a big spin. Oh, my gosh.
Brandon Elvis sideways and up and over. Huge crash, turn 1.
Wow. 54 went literally turtled over on his roof, was sitting there, and someone just missed the memo.
Goodness gracious, a huge crash in turn number 1, and that all started when when Brandon Elvis got spun sideways. Take another look at this again.
So keep your eye on the dark blue, the royal blue car. Well, that's after the wreck happens.
Oh, that's already in progress, yeah.
It's going to be right here. Watch that royal blue, that dark blue car behind. That's going to be the 24. And
Bryson Brinkley.
yep, just got him in 54.9. And I thought we were going to be okay. They're going to sit here, and then there you see that's the 22, I believe, that got bumped from behind, went in sideways, and just...
Yeah, that was Cody Troyer that got hit from behind. And, in fact, the car that hit him to turn him around also then got the 54 and turned him upside down.
I mean, obviously, it's easy to say the 24. Watch this here. The 24 just comes up. That's easy to say. 54 gets spun around. Watch the second one. Yeah, it's a few cars get up in the air. And I think, so I mean, race control has not made a determination on the replay. I think the first part's obvious for the 24. I'm curious if they're looking to see if they can find anyone else at fault in this caution.
I don't think they will. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. If the 24 doesn't turn the, car in front and flips him, that got flipped over, well, there's no caution.
Let's see the replay again, and I'm going to walk you through race control's decision, and I'll get your live reaction. Call from race control. Well, this is after the wreck. That was a weird transition to have happen here. The 54 is going to get loose, and he's going to surprise the 24, which actually I do kind of see from an angle, believe it or not. I was a little surprised. No fault given. The 54 was loose. It's not on the 24.
Interesting decision.
I will say, from that top-down view, that's the best view I've seen of the 54 getting loose. Yeah.
Well, the choose has been completed. Drivers are doubled up. Derek, we are getting set to go back to green flag racing here.
Yeah, we are. And Race Control is trying to encourage these drivers to clean this up. He's saying, guys, I don't want to have to penalize people. I don't want to have to make those calls, but that's part of what Race Control's gig is. Sometimes you have to do it. And I'll tell you what, in Race Control, you and I both know from doing it our separate ways. And, I get to do it every Monday for High Tide Racing League. Well, that's been some, knock on wood, that's been some great running recently. Sometimes as Race Control, you can't be their friend. You have to make a decision that's going to be difficult, and you have to put a flag out there that's going to upset someone, and you just have to live with it. That's part of Race Control. So, man, I'm going to sound critical when I say this, Dylan. I'm actually critical of Race Controls who feel bad for handing out penalties. As we go back to green here, we'll talk about it in a little bit. And Kyle Terzak gets the jump here. And it's been the same starting order for a while, at least for the top three here in the field.
Terzak still with the lead. Everyone else not pursuit. Look out for Brinkley down low as he's able to punch his way through. Tyler Leclerc just behind, way up the racetrack. Hanging on for the time being. Brinkley's going to move Hunter Tyser up and wide.
There's the 24 who we thought was at fault the last time got cleared by Race Control because the 54 got loose. He's still batting side by side and leaning on doors here, and that's not a bad thing though. In this style of racing, a short track racing at tracks like Langley, you're expected to lean on another car.
$165 laps still to go here as the 21 of Noah Hubbard also trying to look for the inside groove. Tyler Leclerc still holding on to the outside. Most of the rest of the field here already getting down to single file. Cameron Ruggles.
I thought that was okay.
He's trying
I thought for sure.
it.
I thought for sure him and the 33 were going to get together there. That pink car was just going to come up and tag the 33, but they've got it worked out so far. They're now side by side through the corner, and it may have worked out here as we're working on yet possibly our second longest green flag run of the night so far, which tells you a little bit about how this race has gone.
Still not even a quarter of the distance through the Hampton heat here this afternoon. Up towards the front, Ethan Johnson still applying pressure to Kyle Terzak, but has been unable to find a way around him for the race lead. 0.2 of a second. And that is about as far as it's been able to go. Johnson tries he may. He's just not able to get the run that he needs on that 15 entry.
No, and again, I think it's going to come down at some point to using the bumper. That's the only way you're going to get around Terzak. If this Terzak is locked to the bottom of that corner, it's really this, I mean, almost like what we'd see like in a NASCAR Super Speedway. You're going to use that yellow line as your friend. And, we're being here. This calls a 3 wide back in the field, but we're all good so far.
A little bit of a contact there as well as Garrett Caswell cut in. Nearly ran over Brody Marinko, who's already been turned once this afternoon by something similar. Caswell, as a result, going to drop down the order into the clutches of Bryson Miller and Cody Anderson. They still go side by side down the back straightaway, and Caswell's doing a good job with that bottom lane. The 122 of Cody Troyer maintaining the back of the line, and again near contact between the two.
Yeah, boy, it just looks like so many times that they're going to make contact here. And as a driver, remember, if we can see it that close up here, it has to look even more terrifying down inside the cars. I always forget sometimes the broadcasters. If we can see it, they can see it. If we can feel it, they can feel it. And that's a little bit of what's going on here. And,
look out!
Hold on.
Into
There's
the
someone in the grass. No caution. Now stay green here. That's going to be the 20 car.
Cody Anderson having a moment. I think he got hit from behind to send him down there, but no caution.
Second time we've seen the 20 in the grass with no caution tonight. Did we see that like at the start of the race? Or
no, that was we did see somebody down, but it was not Anderson. It was somebody else.
Okay.
You see up
only
here.
One set of tires on the docket tonight for these drivers. So remember, competition caution at lap 100. You're not required to take them then, by the way. And by the way, it's lap 100-ish is what race control. They're reserving the right to move the lap a little bit in case a caution is out or what have you. But
which I think is fair. You don't want to end up in one of those situations, right, where you get a green flag run and say, oh, now 2 laps later, all right, comp yellow. Like at that point, you may as well just declare the last yellow to be the comp yellow, you know?
yeah.
Single
4 is having a night. Apparently he's been kind of beating and banging off some cars. No cautions come out recently, but race control has kind of laid down the law and has said, listen, knock off this beating and banging and laying on people. And they basically kind of told him this is your last warning for it. So they're trying to get this race cleaned up. They want to keep it green as much as anyone else does race control. So sometimes you have to lay down a law like that. When we come back to that topic from earlier, Nolan, you know, race control, sometimes people say, oh, I feel bad for handing out a penalty. Or I feel bad for saying this to you guys. But as race control, that's your job. You have to say those things, and you have to be out there and be strict. And listen, I'm of the firm belief that the last thing a good race control should be is friends with your league members.
Hey, a race controller is there to hold down the law, and we've seen this time and time again. I mean, how many times even in the real world have we seen people handle... Heck, I saw this just a couple weeks ago at Agassi Speedway. The race controller had said, hey, don't hit him, don't hit him, don't hit him. Spun him a lap later. All right, you're done the whole night. Didn't even give him a chance to go through the whole EOL, then drive through Vineyard Park. Just, nope, you're done for the night. And that's... Sometimes, hey, you got to be the bad guy. Someone has to be the bad guy eventually when you're running an event like this. And oftentimes, that falls to the very thankless job of a race controller.
It certainly does, yeah. We see it all across iRacing, across the different events that happen hosted by different groups, or you see them in your leagues and you have a race control person. It's one of those things that people don't often notice when race control is doing well, right? When race control is doing well and all the rules are being followed, no one notices. But boy, the moment you have a bad night in the league, and I always tell people, if race control is a highlighted member of your league, something's wrong. Like I race control on Mondays for the High Tide Racing League. I don't like to be the focus of attention. I'll come and talk with the guys. We'll have a good time. We'll joke a little bit. We'll go through the rules, and then I'm out of there. I don't need to be the focus of the attention. So luckily, race control's got this race cleaned up, and we're on moving here. And right now, Kyle Terzak continues to have led every lap tonight so far. He's up half a second on the field. And right now, for the first time, race control is telling lap traffic, be consistent. Our leaders are facing lap traffic. And I'll say this is going to be my next critical point. Kyle Turzak, as your leader, he should be the one dictating lap traffic, Nolan. To me, that is the job of a leader, is to be on the road saying, hey, lap cars, can you please go low? Can you please go high, pick a lane. That should not be on race control to be telling the lap cars where to go.
So agree yet disagree. I agree partially, but at the same time, you also don't need drivers, cluttered up with driver radar when it's something that could just easily be transmitted. It's just, when the leaders get to you, hold a line. That's all that needs to be said. And anything that happens after that, well, your reward, effectively.
I agree, but as a leader, listen, with great power comes great responsibility. Come back to our superhero theme earlier. Sometimes you, as a leader, you have to be one to kind of take the initiative. Hey guys, leaders are coming. Can you guys stay high, or can you? I mean, in this case, you wouldn't want them to go high. You wouldn't want them to go low. But depending on your track, can you guys go high? I think it's just up to the leader to kind of, it's like being the quarterback of a football team, or being the captain of your hockey or your soccer team. You gotta get out there, and sometimes you gotta be the one to kind of, dictate the momentum, right?
Hunter Tyser all over the back of Jordan Brinkley. Jordan Blaze Brinkley nearly sending the number 11 around. There is up the racetrack, Dave Billings. A oh boy, a bit of a loose moment there, but a big fight developing deeper in the field. This is Bryson Miller under attack by Zachary Mertez, and Lucas Austin and Max Dinda side by side right behind them.
Now, there was a bump. There's a scare of a bump to get that white and red car up high, but now he's up out of the groove, and it'll take a second to find it again here. But every now and then through this field, you'll see an occasional side-by-side battle, but it looks like this thing has mostly single-filed out. Passing has been at a premium here tonight. Now, I think in a month and a half or so, whenever it is we get to Martinsville, Nolan, that'll be different. Martinsville, there seems to be the ability to pass there in different cars, but right now tonight, passing appears to be at a premium.
The big difference between this track and Martinsville is a much more of a point-and-shoot short track as opposed to Langley, which is much more of a momentum-based racetrack, and we've seen that. We've seen Langley be a momentum-based track tonight. I mean, look what happened in the heat races, right? You had one driver that started second, and within 5 laps, he was down to 7th because he lost the groove.
Well, it's interesting. Remember, we used Martinsville as our reference track earlier. There's more banking at Martinsville, too. There's double the banking there is in this track, and so it'll be very interesting to see how that behaves here. People can kind of use that banking to find some more speed and some more momentum in that track and make those passes here. But now we're going to battle side by side. That's the 20 to the inside, the 17 to the outside. And unless there's new tires involved, Nolan, I don't think there's ever a world where a car on the outside is going to win a battle. So Holden cautions out for the 5th time. Turn 3, there it is.
Skylar Dixon, second time today, will no doubt be likely found at fault unless he had some help. I don't think he did. Oh, no, he came down pit row while it was still closed. That's what happened to Dixon.
Let's find out what's going to happen here. And there's the 77. He's going to get some
potential assistance.
I thought he was. That was a different corner, so. Yeah.
Oh, that's because I'm a lap behind. That's why.
We'll keep watching the replay here, but eventually the 122 is going to make contact with the 77 here. We'll wait for it to happen, and
that'll do it.
Yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. It's probably possibly the most cut and dry call we've had all night.
Very lucky that it didn't dig into that little berm there, that ditch near the exit of pit road. Could have been a nasty incident. Quite a few drivers down pit road. Troyer is in. Max Dinda came in. Skylar Dixon obviously came in. Adam Holston is in. So some drivers are taking the set of tires early, which would shuffle them to the front if we get it at the good green flag run to the comp yellow.
Yeah, it's a little early. I started to say, I wonder if someone tonight plays with the tire strategy and kind of takes the tires off cycle just so they don't have to be involved in what's likely going to be the lap 100 pit stops. This one's too early, though, I think, to make it work. But if we had maybe one caution more 10 laps from now, I might ponder coming in and putting my tires on now. I only get one set to play with. But why not do it now and not be involved in that big mass, Black Friday shopping spree on pit road?
Well, because Black Friday shopping sprees are fun, Derek. Didn't you know?
I've been in a couple. It depends on what you're shopping for.
To be
I'm
fair,
that guy who goes.
they're more
I'm that
fun
guy
when
who goes
you're
on a Black Friday shopping spree, and I just look for odds and ends things like random movies on sale or video games on sale. I don't need a TV. I want one of those. But Black Friday can be fun.
I'm starting to stock up my Steam wish list in preparation.
Wow, I feel like that was a subtle hint. Well, just in case you're curious, I got my Dear Santa letter written out, Nolan Mimple said.
I'm not quite that far. That doesn't happen until November.
Yeah.
Give Halloween its dues.
Well, you guys don't. You guys do Thanksgiving
Halloween.
before Halloween, don't you?
Yeah, we do Thanksgiving. It's not as
How is
big.
Thanksgiving before Halloween? I don't understand how you guys do that.
I genuinely don't know why. I think it should be in November. That way we can split the holidays. Each month in September gets a holiday.
But you can be just like the Americans you want to be.
Green flag back
Pace car's
in the
down
air.
and green flag's back out. By the way, that popping bulb thing, real quick, a little off topic, it happens in the crowd on restarts here at the short tracks. I wish that would happen at all racetracks on iRacing.
You'll need to point it out to me because I did not recall it the last time through, but double file here. Oh, stacking up on the inside line, getting a little bit close for comfort, but they're able to hold it.
Doing good so far, side by side through the corner. Lots of great racing. And I'll say this, it can be hard to miss or hard to see sometimes. For every now and then we have a bit of contact and we have a caution, now 5 of them on the board. We do also have a bunch of great side-by-side racing short tracks that is happening here, Nolan. It doesn't always get maybe the focus or the highlights that some of the wrecks do, but there's a lot of drivers who really are just really pushing these cars to the edge of what they can do, and they're having fun doing it.
Hey, we had a long green flag run last time as well, and it was about as long as what our longest green flag run was at South Boston a couple of weeks ago. And around, going to go the 04. Hunter Tyser almost around, hovered into the outside wall. We're able to save it. No caution.
No caution indeed. So we keep moving here. And that 24 is way up out of the groove. He's going to get that stuff back in line where he doesn't get caught up in
now
something.
we're
There's a
gonna
car
get one.
loose and around, and caution will be out.
Oh,
And
my.
there's another car, 71, up in the air.
Colby Vaughn again being pitched up and almost over. Nearly had our second flip of the day.
And we saw them. I started up. I mean, not just up here with the 24. That's the first car I saw, kind of getting around, and he comes down. And the 71. 71 in contact with that black and orange car up ahead. Is that the 04?
Yeah, that was Hunter Tyser, and then right
That's
up
on the
here,
71, and then
the 02 of Zachary Mertez goes up and underneath the 71 car. Wild scenes from Langley. You'll have to point out what you were referring to earlier. We have a good opportunity
so when we get
for it now.
okay, so we get back to going green. I just sounds odd to say, but watch the crowd. Watch the crowd. You see all the camera flashes.
Okay. You don't often get tracks where the grandstands are so close to the racetrack, do we, on iRacing?
I mean, you get grandstands still, but think about I don't know, but it happened every night. It's happened every night race, as far as I'm concerned. Like whether you're at Charlotte or Daytona or whatever, but you'll see here when we go green in a moment that there's all kinds of camera flash bulbs, which I mean, I guess I get it. Maybe it's not a simulator. Maybe it's no one has a flash bulb on their camera. Everyone uses their phone nowadays, but
well, a lot of racetracks also have a no flash policy nowadays.
I mean, there's a good reason for that.
Yeah, well, to be fair, exceptions to designated photographers. Choose cone has been completed. We are getting set to return back to green flag racing.
So I'll call the restart here, and you watch the crowd, and then you'll see. Not this time. Choose cone has happened, as you said, by the way. So we're here. Kyle Turzak again was to lead us around, and we're almost to halfway. By the way, we're getting close, and I think we're starting to get close, by the way, Nolan, to someone coming down for tires. I think that's going to happen here. 125 laps at the line here. And let's see. Again, I guess we know the most this run could be is 25 laps. You know, there's a competition caution coming right around lap 100. We'll wait and see. Kyle Terzak's going to wait for the pace car to pull down. Toby Lane, Ethan Johnson, Cameron Ruggles up to P4, by the way. Watch the ground. Just the flash bulbs up there. Might be able to see this time.
Oh, yeah, look at that. I love the fun little details iRacing keeps putting into this thing. Green flag back into the air. Terzak again gets away hard into the wall for Bryson Brinkley as everyone follows him in.
A follow the leader style right there from the wall. All is good. We're going to keep racing here. Almost 3 wide offset here through the corners, up through the back straight. There's a list of tracks I don't want to be 3 wide on, Nolan. Langley's going to be towards the top of that.
I mean, it's doable. You're just usually not having a good time unless you're on the inside of that 3 wide.
15, I thought for sure was going to come around there. I mean, you're right. It's doable. I just don't want to do it.
Jacob Hefner just had a major flash out up the road with the 95. He's back up now. Still running at 4th, but a close call. Fights on for the lead for the first time. Terzak under fire. Here goes Ethan Johnson to the inside line. He's going to try to get through, and Terzak can't get clear because Toby Lane is blinking out.
Yeah, Race Control's made a couple of comments. These drivers with bad connections saying we can't tolerate it for too long, but up front for the first time, it's not Terzak. It's going to be Ethan Johnson up here, and for the first time tonight here with 120 laps to go, there's a new leader at Langley.
And this could be bad for Terzak. He was mentioning it to us earlier on, right? You really need to have that track position. That was going to be key, and right now he doesn't have it. He's all the way back to 4th now. He's trying to find a hole to get back down to the inside, and he can't find one. And drivers might be getting in trouble here as well because Wesley Burke has just been given a repairs required flag. I think he's burned his tires.
That could be. That's I didn't see any obvious damage to that car there. So yeah, that maybe he's popped a tire. And if you popped a tire this early, that's not good because math doesn't math in that scenario to think you're going to make it into the race.
Hey, you're not making it to the end on that. That's the real big challenge about one set of tires, right? I mean, in most cases, you're like, oh, that's fine, but that's 200 green flag laps, and they must be green. That's the very big difference between a regular 200 lap short track race and a late model style 200 lap short track race.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I'm going to guess it. Hold on, caution's out. We'll come back to the topic in a second. Caution number.
I think 7. Yeah, 7 give or take.
Okay.
Quite a few in the back that looked like we're getting checked up with one another.
But I feel like if you're the only one who popped a tire this early, there's something else to that story besides just the tire and watch.
I'm trying to find. Everyone was scrambling right around here, so I feel like this might be.
Yeah, that's what it play out. I feel like we're
there it is.
There it is. At the 71 getting turned around.
48. Max Dinda was the 017 of Dylan Barris that got him. All things considered, surprised that was a yellow.
Well, all things considered, this is a blessing for the 7 car.
That's true, yeah. He can come down pit road, avoid. Well, he's still 2 laps down, but he is on fresh tires.
Unfortunately, he probably got on pit road before the caution came out. But hey, it's still limited the loss, and I say this maybe not to the level of the admins, but the number of cautions tonight. 2 laps down may not be the pothole you think it is.
Well, I think that's more a disparage on the drivers than it would be on the administration. But Ethan Johnson out in front. Now we get to see, this is interesting because now we get to see who is like a new style of restart. Terzak has always launched about as soon as he possibly can to try to get clear. What's Johnson going to do with it?
Oh, if I was Johnson, I would do the complete opposite, just to mess with the field, just to bust this up a little bit. But also, right now, if I was anyone other than Johnson, if I was Terzak who just lost the lead, I would come down here and put tires on before the competition caution. I'm a firm believer in you have to do something different sometimes sometimes being different makes you successful in life, and I think that this might be a good example of that. In fact, did Turzak? Nice.
He picked the inside, so he's even further down the field now because of it.
That's the right call, I think. I'm not saying there's not a world where I wouldn't pick the top side. I mean, look how bare the top side is. Look at how much those guys are moving up on the top side by picking the top. That's why you do it. But if I'm up front, I'm picking the bottom. I mean, there's not been a battle tonight we've seen, I think, where the top side has won.
The only one was when the guy on the inside was so loose he couldn't get the hammer down out of the corners.
Two, the green still on the board here. So remember, one more race left to go in this Triple Crown, Nolan, and it's a different format of sorts because it's multiple days of an event because we're going to qualify on one day and race on the next, I do believe.
That is correct. The next race up will be the Martinsville 300. That will be October 10th to 11th. On the 10th, it is qualifying night. We'll spend all night qualifying, starting around 7:55 p.m. Eastern Time. And then the day after, there are several heat races and a LCQ. That will be followed by a 300-lap main event. You want to talk about a marathon night? That's going to be a marathon.
Is the broadcast booth catered that day?
Only if you DoorDash it yourself.
That's not catering.
It's budget catering. The budget comes from your budget, though.
No, catering would be if you DoorDash the food too. That would be catering. That's just feeding myself. I do that on a daily basis. All right, green flag's back out as we're now here within about a few laps of the competition caution, and that was about a repeat, by the way, from Johnson because he made the big jump the same as Turzak was doing, but now Turzak is the one stuck side by side.
Has the inside, though, and I'm sure Turzak is feeling good about being on the inside instead of being caught on the outside like it was before. Hey, look at that. There's the caution you were predicting was going to come out.
Yeah, not surprised.
That's the 13 of Ty McKellar round. Skylar Dixon also involved again, and boy, Dixon has been put through the ringer tonight.
This is caution number 8 that would be charged, by the way, to that car right in front of your screen. He's going to be the one to sign the fault. Let's watch and see what happens. It says the 13 car is going to come up out of the corner. And if we play it ahead here, is he just going to... I hope it's not that bad. It looked bad from that starting angle. But he's just going to run over the 77. And that's not the first time tonight. I think the 77's been around, if I recall correctly.
Oh, it's at least the third that car has been around.
Oh, and he's going to get hit.
That was the 017 of Dylan Barris that caught him.
I mean, we're getting close here, but I keep wondering if race control is going to come across the radio and call one means the competition caution. It did not happen this time, for the record. You see Barney the flagman waving the caution flag there right in front of me. You can see the wreck happen. By the way, that 7 car, who I said he might be okay with the number of cautions, he's going to benefit. He is your free pass car for this run, so he will get one of his laps back.
That's why you never quit in a race like this, because you never know what could happen near the end. 1 lap down, 1 more yellow, he'll be good to go. So, in fact, sorry, that did get him back onto the lead lap. So he's on the lead lap now and ready to fight. Oh, never mind. Okay, it just caught up. He is still 1 lap down. Okay. When the caution laps don't count, weird things can happen.
Things happen. Yeah, they do.
So Ethan Johnson, Jacob Hefner, they will be side by side. Choose has been initiated. Your former leader, Kyle Turzak, 4th in line, down on the inside of the racetrack. Turn number 4 should have 1 lap to go here at the line. And we will get the Hampton Heat back underway. Mystics' hottest race of the year on a track that has been considerably cooler than when we qualified. It was 104 degrees when we were qualifying. It's down to 89 degrees now. And that's still up for the 83 it was at the start. The air temp has just dipped to under 80 degrees. 12 miles an hour wind, though, is not going to be doing these drivers any favors.
And with that, by the way, I was trying to take a look and see our fastest lap in the race. It's a 15.683. So go back to green, and there's maybe the closest we've done to a good start up front all night long, with second place trying to keep up with first place here.
And green flag back in the air as we work down the back chute into turn numbers 3 and 4. Hefner continuing to hold on up at the top end of the field. 3 wide behind. And contact out of turn 4. Multiple cars going around. No caution.
No caution. Going to keep racing here. As I take a look to see, by the way, because of the difference in how some of these drivers love those loose race cars, they think it helps them turn. The lap times here aren't really any different despite the track cooling off, because as the track cools off, the track tightens up. And so typically, and I think in most NASCAR, maybe IndyCar or road course races, we see the times get better. As the night comes around, as we're almost 3 wide right there, and we almost have contact again with the 1 car. Here in this style of racing, it's almost identical.
Well, the problem is Terzak is slowing up because he's trying to get to the inside, and contact there. Marengo up the racetrack. And it was Dylan Calkins that gave him a shot on the inside of the track, saying, well, if you're not going to go, I'll just go right through you. So Calkins is into 8th, and we're less than 10 away from the comp yellow.
I would have to think any caution now. Race control might just call this one as the 1. And then we'll see who does or doesn't want to put tires on. Still a lot of beating and banging in the back of the field here, Nolan. I kind of get it. It's a double-edged sword. You know, there's so many cautions, and so because of that, you start getting more aggressive because you think there's not a lot of time to make a pass on the green before the next caution. The problem is you get aggressive and you start beating and banging, and then all of a sudden you are the next caution.
Up front, Ethan
New
Johnson
leader.
under fire. Jacob Hefner has got the inside. He got pushed into it a bit by Jordan Blaze Brinkley. But Hefner able to take the most out of the extra shove, and he's going to go to the point here in turn number 3.
Maybe we're finding out as these tires wear off close to 100 laps, maybe the passing becomes a possibility here, because remember we went from having the same leader for 75, 80 laps. Now we're at our 3rd different leader in the past 20, and I suspect we'll have a couple more lead changes here possibly before this next caution comes out. So great racing happening here all of a sudden. This race has kind of come alive.
104 to go. Hefner continuing to lead here from the Harry King Law Langley Speedway. Now Jordan Blaze Brinkley wants the inside, and it's musical chairs up front. Johnson has, keep in mind, tucked in a 3rd. And just like that, Hefner looking for the over-under, trying to go for it. No joy,
Caution's
and the
out.
caution's out.
Caution's out, not for this. Caution's out because of the 191. And this is competition caution, by the way. Do you want to point that out before you get the replays? This is being called the quote-unquote halfway break. So although it's, and it's darn close, 103 to go, and that basically is halfway.
Dylan Calkins, a lot of damage on the 191 after this hit, and it may have been it was the number 1 car that turned him. And he just nose it into the wall himself.
I got to say, though, I mean, he kind of had it coming. Like, what were we, 8 laps ago that we saw Calkins move? The 1, wasn't it? Moved him up the track and just kind of got him out of the way. Well, the 1 came back and said, how do you do? And I'm not a fan of retaliation on racetracks, but in that style of racing, you kind of had it coming.
Well, I tell you what a race it has been here on the afternoon, and there is still a lot left to go here in this one. You are watching at the moment the Hampton Heat from the Langley Speedway. We are about halfway home. This is the competition yellow for the Harry King Law Langley Speedway. You're watching us live on Green Flag TV. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Already had one, sir.
Welcome back to the Hampton Heat and the second race of the Mystic Triple Crown here on Green Flag TV. You're watching us live from the Harry King Law Langley Speedway. Once again, my name is Little Ramble alongside Derek Watson. We've been bringing you all the action so far, and a lot of action there has been. Derek, we are 97 laps in. This is the Comp Yellow, 3 away from the halfway mark.
And boy, it feels like these last 20 laps have been a brand new race. And I'm not sure if it's just because we got a new leader and now all of a sudden it's just kind of come alive with possibilities. I don't know if maybe it's the tires are wearing off and so it just got a little bit more, active and racy, if you will. I don't know what caused it, but it really did just come alive in the last 20 laps.
Saw a big stack up there on the choose as drivers were trying to get themselves up and sorted. As you see from up high, the choose underway. And that will bring us to race in action once again.
It's interesting to think that the next race in the Triple Crown will be after the season 4 update for iRacing. The choose cone is something that iRacing's been teasing for a bit. It's possible that before we get back here again, we have an actual choose cone in iRacing.
You reckon they're going to have it in there by then?
I mean, they've not said when, so who knows? But they've talked about having it. I have very mixed opinions on it. We'll see how it works, but yeah.
I think it will be good, and that way at least they have the option. You don't have to finagle it at that point, right? But
right.
Field's coming around to the green flag. Jordan Blaze Brinkley, new race leader. Green flag's in the air. 3 away from the halfway mark.
And never mind.
And I thought I saw a car around to the back. I was hoping I didn't, but I did.
We saw 3 of them around in the back.
Apparently, yeah. What in the world happened here?
Like a car meet back there or something. So restart's gonna be under review by race control, so we'll wait and see
I
what
can't
that
imagine
means.
why.
Yeah, I know. Typically, when you say that, when you say that, that refers to the leaders, which is what I was kind of confused by. So we'll wait and see if the leaders have any kind of concerns, but I don't know. There's nothing on the front I see that should be wrong.
Holy
But
cow.
oh boy, starts right there. I mean,
just a huge pile up.
well, the people taking the pictures there in the crowd, they got themselves a camera shot there, didn't they?
Yeah, a lot of YouTube videos are going to go up with that restart pretty soon here. Luke Barnes, it looks like, was the primary instigator of this. He was. He tried to jump the start.
Ah, there it is.
I think the 95 of Hefner made a quick course correction to the inside, right on board with Hefner and what he saw.
0-4 gets into the back of the 0-2. Gets in the back of the 0-2 according to race control. 0-4 tries to jump the start. This would be the 0-4's third incident of the night.
So, okay, here's the problem, though. It's not the 0-4. It's actually the 26. Because there's 2 0-4s, right? And it was actually...
I'm not betting that. I'm repeating the words from race control. 0-4 getting it back to the 0-2.
Because this is the quote-unquote 0-4, which is actually the 26 of Luke Barnes. The other 0-4 is Hunter Tyser, who
Correct.
wasn't ever...
Yeah, you're right. It is going to be Luke Barnes.
Yeah.
That's what race control is verified.
Okay.
But they're saying that's Luke Barnes' third offense, and if that is the case, he is done for the evening.
I do believe that would be accurate as well. So tough break for Luke Barnes. You'd never want to go out on a restart. But such is the way of life sometimes on iRacing and in the motorsports world.
So Luke Barnes done for the night here in the Mystic Triple Crown. He will not be winning the prize money. Choose cone this time by. And look at that. I mean, we talked about this, how powerful the inside lane is. It's what, 5 cars deep before you find your first top. And I get, listen, if I'm P5 and I have a chance to go P2, I'll take that. I get why you do it. But if I'm up front, if I'm P2, P3, I'll just stick to the inside of things.
It always depends on the driver, I feel. You got to really put a lot of consideration into where you want to make that move. It's the gamble, right? Do you want to go with the line that is objectively better and potentially lose track position, or do you want to go with a riskier outside line only to then have to find yourself slipping back unless you can find a quick opening?
Yeah, lots of things to consider when making that choice. And the choose cone's a very weird rule. I think obviously it's been very common, I believe, in short track racing for a number of years. You would know better than I would.
And dirt track
but on
racing.
I'm sorry?
And dirt track racing.
But on a national level, such as NASCAR, I think the rule's maybe 2 years old now, maybe a little more than that. And there's still a lot of critics of it. We'll wait and see how it plays out when it does come to iRacing eventually. But green flag's back out. Again, it is Brinkley leading us around here. And a jump from the leader like we've seen all night long.
So we'll try it again. Brinkley still leading the way up at the front while everyone else is tucked into the line. 2 by deeper in the field. 87 of Dylan Calkins has got the 199 on his outside. Sorry, Calkins on the outside of Dylan Barris down low. Sorry, that's Caswell down low. There we go. Now I found it. Caswell, hit from behind. Courtesy of Skylar Dixon. And Dixon's got to be careful because I know he's got at least 1 strike on his record tonight as well. Still 2 wide all the way back through the running order here as drivers try to find whatever kind of momentum they can muster for themselves. Still have Hunter Tyser trying to get to the inside of Skylar Dixon. Contact to the back end of Garrett Caswell. 3 wide down the front straightaway into turn number 1. 3 abreast. Caswell's going to back out from the middle, it looks like, leaving it just Tyser and Dixon 2 by for the first spot outside of the top 10. Just behind them, Wesley Burke now swarming Caswell, and Caswell is getting chewed up right now by the field.
Yeah, a lot of people are getting chewed up by the field. I was actually just staring for a second at the leaderboard and kind of wondering where some of our people are that kind of started up front. I mean, Terzak's back in P10. Gina had a hard time convincing me 20, 30 laps ago that would be the case. I mean, Terzak's down, 9 spots on the day. That may be the biggest loss of anyone. Jacob Hefner, who was up front at one point, is now down 9 spots in the 15th. For every gain, there's a loss, but there's a couple people I'm surprised how far down they've fallen.
Cody Troyer has just caught a repairs required flag. I'm not sure what the reason is. Let's ride aboard so we can find out.
I thought from our broadcast booth position, I thought I heard a little bit of a wall smack or something, but I couldn't tell who it was. And I'm suspecting these 2 things are related. Let's find out. That car's awfully slow.
I think that was after he got the meatball flag. Let's back this up.
That car,
that'll do it. That'll do it.
That's not enough, though. There's got to be more than that. That's the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. But he had to have had some other contact before that to get into that point, so to speak.
We got to remember a lot of damage on Iverson now is incremental, right? So it could just be he just took 1 too many hits.
Here we go. Now, remember, we're past the halfway point of this race. The laps start counting down. And I'll tell you, for me as a driver, that is the best feeling in the world. When we get to these long races, whether it's 200 laps or whatever you may do, a Bristol 500 or what have you, when you start counting down the number instead of up, there's something about that. It just feels better. It's a relief. It's a weight off your shoulders as a driver to know it means we're getting close to the end. We're counting down now.
That said, remember how long it took for us to get through the last half of the Solo 200. So there's still a lot that can happen. You got to still remain on your toes at all points in time. That said, we are still on a decently long green flag run. As I say that, Zach Mertes nearly got wiped out by Kyle Dumas.
You almost did that to yourself right there. That was almost your own little commentator's curse right there. But here we go, still green. Watching the racing happen on around here. And by the way, Blaze Brinkley or Jordan Brinkley has done an incredible job. And we've been watching a lot of racing, but look at that gap. That's almost what 3/4 of a second right there. He's already pulled on Adam Holston.
He has really pulled out a huge gap over Adam Holston, about half a straightaway at this point. So Brinkley is absolutely loving this up front. Keep tabs on Kyle Turzak, though, because he's back up to 6th, and he's quickly running into the front runners. I think he's been waiting a lot. Remember, he does have some of the freshest tires out of everybody inside the top 5. I think it's also worth noting, Brinkley has not pitted so far this race. He is still running the original tires that he started this race on.
Yeah, it shows you how important track position is. But look at that story in P2. Adam Holston, by the way, had to come in from one of the heats, and at one point I thought maybe he was not going to advance from his heat, and ended up advancing. Now he's here running in P2. He's up 25 spots on the day. So I'm going to guess that means he's also not pitted so far.
Showing yet again that Holston did pit, but he pitted before the comp yellow. He pitted 48 laps ago. So he did pit, but it is still a considerably long time ago to be running on the same set of tires without changing them.
Yeah, that's going to concern me as this run goes on. I mean, we had someone pop a tire, with 110 to go. Going 140 in the set, that's going to be close, I think.
We continue to watch some of the other battles taking place throughout this race. There, oh my goodness, as the 017 of Dylan Barris really stacking up this field now, and he's going to have to get out of the way here in a hurry. I think something might be going on in that car. He just popped a tire, and he's gone around. I think he had a tire fail.
Something happened. I heard the skid in the 360, so I don't know if that or something happened to that car, but it happened quickly, and around he went. He's down pit road already, so that's going to lead to your theory. The tire went down. Watch the replay here. Let's see what's going to happen up top. That's that black and pink machine.
Look at how slow he is.
There's contact there.
Oh, there was, but I feel like he had a tire going down because of how slow he was all of a sudden, and he got that repair flag before the crash. Let's ride on board, and I want to ride on board for the last few laps if we can with the 017, because I feel like there's another part to the story. Let's listen in.
Wait for the moment to happen here on the replay.
Well, you saw him catch the wall, right? I mean, there was a slight tap with the wall, and you hear something dragging along the ground there.
Yep.
That or it's just the rubber being pulled. I feel like like that wall may have had a tire issue.
What's assigned to the 191?
That would be the car that ran over the 017, I believe.
Yep.
So still have 80 laps to go. Once again, caution laps do not count throughout this 200-lap race. It's been a long afternoon, Derek, and we have a long way to go.
Long way to go. And here's the thing that you got to try to think about. I mean, we're what? 80 to go? 4 laps a minute. We could be done in like, what? 15 minutes, roughly? 20 minutes?
21 and change.
If it stays green. If it's a big word. But if it stays green, you're done in 21 minutes. We could be out of here eating dinner in a half hour. And as West Coasters, it will be dinner time when we're done.
It already is dinner time at 6 o'clock.
It already is dinner time. Yeah, that's true.
It's like, yeah. What are you talking about?
That's true.
80 laps will be the distance when we go back to green.
By the way, to finish the speculation from earlier, I said maybe someone's hadn't pitted. I did finally go back and look. Your leader is the only car that hasn't pitted, by the way. I want to point that out so that I kind of clear up that comment I made earlier. So here we go. Green flags back out at Langley, and they're side by side for first and second. Ethan Johnson, a familiar spot for him all night long, trying to get the lead. And Nolan, I think that's the best start he's had against the leader all night.
Two by all the way through as Ethan Johnson applying pressure to the tail end of Blaze Brinkley. Kyle Turzak back to the number 3 spot, exactly where he wants to find himself. So overall, the racing continues to be hotly contested throughout the field. And we could be seeing Turzak make another offensive charge back to the front if he can survive long enough to settle it back into that rhythm.
Yeah, we'll wait and see if he can get up there. I mean, boy, you got to think he might be regretting that this actions that led him back there. That was before the pit stop even. He lost the lead, and you just got to wonder if he regrets some move he made that put him back there.
Skylar Dixon now trying to hang on. Contact to the back end of Max Dinda. And still has Dixon maintaining that run on the low side. Cameron Ruggles. Haven't talked about Ruggles much in this race, but he's still in the top 10 mix. +2 now. And how about that? Actually making the outside lane work for a change. 3 wide out of turn number 4. And the 77 holds on.
That's going to kill the outside momentum for a second, I think. But Ruggles, never mind, powered at least by the car in the middle. The 48 backed out, and the 77 is going to continue to get the lead here of these cars at least, and he'll drive on through. But Ruggles, you're right, is making a good run of it.
And the 48 now of Dinda on the backslide quite significantly. Lost that momentum. Brody Marinko going to charge the inside as well. Noah Hubbard will secure a pass. Does have a nice hole, though, where he can poke into and begin to gather its momentum back. Speaking of momentum, how about Toby Lane making moves deeper in the pack?
Yeah, doing a good job trying to move it forward. And listen, we kind of made the comment earlier, there's not a lot of time to do it. I mean, 80 laps are now 72 laps. Might sound like a long time, but when we put that in the real world time, that's now less than 20 minutes on the clock if we stay green. You cannot lollygag anymore. This is that time. If you think about other forms of racing, you kind of want to lay back and you kind of want to wait for your chance. Well, this is go time, folks. There's no more time to lollygag. You have to get up here. You have to get into it. And that's probably what's going to cause it to be more aggressive than it has been. So maybe people who are kind of laying back are going to start to move forward. The question I have in my head now, though, Nolan, I don't know if you agree or not, I'll ask you. There's no way our leader goes all 200 laps without pitting, right?
You would think, especially now that the leader is no longer Blaze Brinkley. Ethan Johnson has forced the issue. He is through for the lead of the race. So Johnson to the point, and here comes Kyle Turzak. The dominant car of the opening half is back and ready for more. Quarter second back, and he's ready to party.
Use the bumper. I just used the bumper. I thought for sure it was coming right there, but now if you're Brinkley, now this hurts because, I mean, you're going to have to pit at some point, and you're going to give up a lot of spots in doing so possibly. So wait and see how that plays out. But you're right, new leader up front, Ethan Johnson. This is his second time leading the race tonight.
I frankly don't understand why he would not have pitted under the Cobb yellow, right? I mean, it's the perfect opportunity. You don't know if there's going to be another yellow for the rest of the race.
Well, but sometimes, you know, past performances predict future results, and based upon that comment, well, there it is. In fact, there's another yellow. All right, on time.
Now, speaking of the devil,
there it is.
Max Dinda, the result of this one. Potentially Kyle Dumas as well.
Again.
Couple of entries. We'll spin her out.
14 cars getting in here, and he's going to spin the 48 around what we're being told from race control. And
yeah, I concur.
Yeah, that sounds
seems about right.
Yep.
A pretty nondescript spin, and jump it back in gear. Away you go.
All right, well, under caution again. I think this is 10.
Oh, we're past 10 by now.
You think so?
I think so.
I think we're at 8. I mean, competition maybe it might be at 11. I've lost count again. Can we get like an intern in here next time, just to his only job is to count the cautions?
Tell ATV to put a caution counter on there.
We could.
To be fair, other programs do have caution counters. It is possible.
I think it is possible in ATBO as well. We just don't have that option available in this thing. I could send a strongly lettered worded Discord message.
As per
All right.
my last Discord DM, we demand a caution counter.
We politely demand. All right, so listen, I'll say this here as we kind of get a little more serious and back into the context of the race. I don't quite understand what's happening here, Nolan. In the past 10 laps, I've heard a good number of commotion about the 122 car and blocking. I'm not sure if it's someone just being picky and finicky and complaining, but I heard about it just for the caution, and I heard he was kind of blocking under caution for some reason. So I don't know.
It could be because he's 8 laps down, and I'd argue he really shouldn't be fighting with anybody, given he's got 4 laps of the next car in front and 8 laps of the next car behind, so he's got no reason to be blocking anybody.
It's a tough sell, isn't it?
Yeah. But what are you going to do? They're racing drivers.
All right, well, let's do it again. Pace car is down, green flag's back out, and it is Ethan Johnson and Jacob Hefner's back up front, by the way. That's Hefner to 95 on the outside. He wants to get up here. Turzak wants to be involved, but it's side by side down the back straight. This is the best race we've had off a restart all night long.
Oh, look at Turzak throwing in there, though, from the middle of nowhere. Chucking her in from the different zip code down to the turn number 3. He's going to catch the back bumper of Ethan Johnson, trying to move him up and out of the way. So Turzak still holding on. Hefner up top. They can't figure out who wants to go and fight Johnson.
Well, I thought Turzak was going to do it the way he slid that car in there through 3 and 4. I thought for sure he was going to hit the back bumper. But now as Turzak and Hefner are fighting like this, they're going to let Johnson pull away if they're not careful here. They've got to sort this out and sort it out quickly.
Turzak all the way through into the number 2 spot. I'll give Hefner credit. He really tried, and he nearly got him, too. Had Turzak not been there, he might have gotten him. Turzak now nearly into the back bumper of Ethan Johnson. He wants to go for the lead of this race. Approach to the final quarter, still have 62 laps to run, and Turzak is all over the back of Ethan Johnson.
Doing a great job as Turzak to get back up front, as is Jacob Hefner back up here as well. Noah Hubbard's back and forth. He's up 10 spots to be there. Cameron Ruggles back in the top 5, so lots of good running happening here. And remember, we're quickly counting it out. We're now 61 laps to go.
Multiple drivers. Oh, in trouble behind.
Caution.
Toby Lane into the grabs, and he's collected a couple. Colby Vaughn, I think, may have been involved. Max Dinda was involved. But the main proponent of this yellow was Toby Lane in the 051. He was backwards in the grass.
Let's watch and see what's going to happen and who's going to hit who here. No contact so far.
Oh, hard into the wall for the 7 of Wesley Burke, and it was Vaughn that got punted sideways.
Is that the 3rd time today that I've seen the 71 it was at least one tire off the ground?
I think you're right.
It's at least a 2nd, if not the 3rd. I'm just saying. Watch up top on the top of your screen here, the blue and black car.
Just got hooked with the 7.
And that car up front just wasn't clear. The 71 did nothing wrong, in my opinion.
And the 48 came sliding in. Someone else came spinning in from behind. This is on board with Vaughn.
Watch, this will be the best view. The 7 can come up. Not clear. I mean, that's pretty simple. And the 71 gets run over and then just breaks loose.
There's the 24 getting hit, courtesy of the 122. So catching more ire from drivers because the 122 of Cody Troyer somehow didn't get the memo.
Well, Nolan, I think it's a good time as ever to talk about. If you're having fun watching the race tonight here on Green Flag TV, there's lots of amazing racing action upcoming this week. I'll walk you through it. Tonight, right now, on the channel, a separate feeds, the Blazing Pedals Truck Series is going on, as is Motor City Racing. So it's a triple header on Green Flag TV tonight. Tomorrow night, the High Tide Racing League gets to their regular season finale. A bunch of drivers trying to lock into the chase format. That's at Richmond Raceway. Tuesday night, the Silver Fox Late Model Championships will be over at Bristol. Wednesday night's a doubleheader. The Premier Sim Racing will be over in their summer shootout. They're doing the O'Reilly cars at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And the Beer League will be running. They're running the Formula Race this season. We'll find out their track tomorrow. Thursday night, the NASCAR Caswell's company, the Mystic League, will be here. Well, not be here. They'll be this league, but they'll be over at Darlington Raceway. And the Speed Cup Series will be over at New Hampshire Motor Speedway with the Next Gen Cup cars. Want to get your league or special event broadcast? You can. Just head over to www.greenflag.tv. You can find out how, and you can contact us there for more information. Well, to be a great week of racing, Nolan. That finale tomorrow night for High Tide. The last I looked, there's a good number of drivers still eligible to make that chase.
By my count, I think there's 4 or 5 that are within only 2 points of each other for the final bump spot. It's going to be an intense run. And don't forget, Speed also in the middle of the Highline Diecast In-Season Bracket Challenge. We're entering the quarterfinals. 32 entered 2 weeks ago. Only 8 remain. Winner from each pairing moves on to the semis. That will be the week after this next one. Green flag coming out this time by 60 laps still to run. And we will get set to return back to racing action. Ethan Johnson still with the lead. Again, Hefner trying again on the outside. It nearly worked last time. We'll see if it works this time. Green flag's back in the air.
Good jump that time by the leader. Not the jump we got last time. And he quickly pulled away. But, oh, boy, turns that close quickly and put the bumper on. And I've said it all night long, Nolan. I'll say it again for those who may just be tuning in. I'm confident in saying the last pass tonight, whenever or whoever it may be, a bumper will be involved with pass for the win.
It's a very, very big possibility as the field. Oh, look out! The 21 of Hubbard into the back of Jacob Hefner. He holds on, leaving Kyle Turzak to try to run down Ethan Johnson for the lead. Three-tenths of a second still amongst the duo as Johnson continues to tick laps away. Deeper in the pack, Cody Anderson saw him around earlier tonight. Side by side with Bryson Miller, another driver who has not been without problems. Brinkley did pit under this latest yellow flag and has already fought his way back up into the top half.
Yeah, doing a great job so far. It really and truly is. A lot of drivers really having great races tonight, and sure enough, why they love racing these cars. This is a special kind of skill to race these cars. They're difficult cars. Short tracks is very, very harder than it looks. So kudos and props to every driver who gets out here and races these events in the late model series. This is hard to do.
Brinkley kind of moving Anderson up and out of the way a bit there, entering turn 3. He's going to make it work, though. So Brinkley now up to 12. Here's the big thing about Brinkley pitting late. He's got about 30 green flag lap pressure tires than everybody else in the field, which is great news for him because it means a bit of an easier time in trying to get back to the point.
Any gap you thought existed on this track is basically just kind of disintegrated in the last bit. Everyone's getting more aggressive, getting more up on the wheel. The closest gap we have, the biggest gap we have right there is that one up front for the lead. It's half a second. But as I look down the leaderboard, Nolan, it's basically a tenth or 2 seconds between every other car as far as I can see.
And once again, right, that is exactly how we like it. Nice and close and thrilling from flag to flag. The 13 of Lucas Ostad tags the back of Brody Marenko. Adam Holston, I believe one strike on Holston's record tonight as he tries to maintain the advantage. The 13 entry still holding on up front. Lap 50. Or 50 laps to go. Lap 151. And we got another.
Out.
Reason unclear. Possibly for Bryson Brinkley, though. Dylan Barnes, I'm showing, was also slow.
Well, let's wait and see what the replay shows us. We'll wait for the get wound up here on the replay, and we'll watch the bottom of the track, I think is where we're going to see. There's the 017 up top, that black and pink machine. It's going to come through the corner.
Oh, don't tell me.
It's going to come down.
Are you kidding me?
Not clear would be the call, I'd say there.
I mean, yeah, but why is Troyer sticking it in there when he's 8 laps down?
Maybe you could argue that, but still, the 017 got loose and came down. I mean, I get your point, but to me,
I don't know. I feel it's just
Okay,
way too much. It's way too much aggression.
Point Nolan Rimple. Race control agrees with you. And with that, that will end
I think
the night.
I think it's here because, yeah, I mean, look, he just stuffs it in there when he's already started turning into the corner. You can't do that. And then he nearly caught the 17 as well. I mean,
Yeah, that I would let go. That's post-wreck stuff. But I see your point. By the way, that will end Troyer's night. That is his 3rd strike, and Race Control has parked him for the evening. So one more car off the track. With just about 50 laps to go. But I get your point. I still think the 017 came down. I think whether he's a lap down or not, if there's a car low, there's a car low.
So here's my point. I'm going to jump back to this one more time, if I may.
Go for it.
So right here, they're already turning into the corner, right? At this point, the 017 is committed. He's following the 71 in front of him. And Cody Troyer, if you watch here, he's got alongside maybe here when he's already up against the apron. And at this point, Troyer's going on to that apron. Now, that apron, while you can race there, you're not on the racing surface anymore. You can't expect leniency when you're down there.
I guess you're right. I see your point. To me, I'll meet in the middle. So they both made a dumb move.
I can agree with it. It's like you got situational awareness from the car behind, but even then, if I'm Miller, I'm still not expecting a car 8 laps down to throw it down the inside from 3 car lengths back.
Here's the counter argument, though, and I want to be this carefully because I don't really want hate mail for this. When you've had complaints all night long about a car being aggressive and blocking and kind of being a weapon, you have to be aware of those things as a driver. You have to put that in your memory bank, and you have to say, hey, guys, here's a car right here that people were complaining about all night. Maybe this guy's going to be aggressive. Like, should he be aggressive is a different conversation. But if I've heard all night long people complain about how he is aggressive, maybe I need to put that in my memory bank somewhere. I'm just saying it doesn't excuse what he did, but I also need to have it. Remember that word you use, situational awareness. I need to be aware of who is and isn't a troublemaker, to put it nicely.
Well, the green flag is back in the air. Out of the 29 that started, we are down to 24 still on the racetrack, all of which are on the lead lap. Green flag is back in the air. We're into the final quarter officially this time.
Yep, 3/4 of the race have been completed, and here we are working our way through. Race restart is under review, by the way. We'll wait and see what that means from race control, if anything, but the word has gone out to the drivers. Restart under review. Terzak's going to try and get up here and get clear of Hefner, and I thought they were going to make contact for a second.
I did too. They're still not safe. They're awful close to one another. Terzak trying to force the issue. Still has the inside. Hefner playing it beautifully on offense. Trouble off of turn 4. Multiple cars around. Hunter Tyser is also involved. And we'll slow it down again.
By the way, we'll find it after we do the replays for the wreck, but Hunter Tyser, right before the wreck, I couldn't quite get the whole transmission in my ears, but Hunter Tyser was found at fault for something on that restart. He was black flagged just before that caution came out.
So, and you could see it there. He was trying to come down pit road. The problem was he did it too suddenly, so he, in effect, brake checked the entire field and got run over from behind. Watch this here. Watch right about here. He's going to jam the binders, and the 51 is nowhere to go.
Yeah, so that they kind of are related. The 04 went in to serve his black flag for whatever he got on the restart.
CBA or CBA Adventures 26 in the chat asking who's got the best paint scheme. That's a hard question to answer. There's been a lot of good ones
That's
tonight.
so subjective. There's a lot of good ones tonight.
I'd argue I like the black, blue, and orange that Terzak's
I'm a fan of
got.
Terzak.
Terzak's is good. We can't both have the same one, though.
No.
Speaking of which, Vaughn's looks great.
I was a fan of Devin Lyons with the orange and the blue earlier. That was really nice.
Oh, that was a good one. I like Colby Vaughn. I'm a sucker for black and blue cars.
Yeah, that's also a good one. You know, it is funny to think there are some very common colors here tonight. There's black, there's blue, and there's white. That's kind of all we have, I think. A lot of the fancier ones didn't make the field. So maybe there's something to the color thing. I don't know. But, like, we had some candy apple red chrome in the heat races. There's not a... Funny enough, there's no yellow.
Cameron Ruggles
no orange.
doesn't look bad.
That 02 up top is nice.
Let's see. That would be Zachary Mertez. Yeah, Mertez is fine.
Nice car.
Hefner's is okay. The gray's a bit plain for my taste. It's a bit too matte to work, you know.
It's like he's like a Pac-Man ghost.
Well, even the Pac-Man ghosts have more color than that.
I meant a dead Pac-Man ghost, but yeah, fair enough.
A dead Pac-Man. You're not wrong. The 15 of Kyle Dumas looks pretty good. Normally, I'm not a fan of blue and yellow, but that one it pops really well.
You know, it's funny. I saw that car earlier, and I know sometimes we mimic our favorite cars in iRacing. We put our own stuff on it, not the sponsors. But I was like, oh, that's a Best Buy car, but no, it's not. It's just his own. It's his own car. But that looks like that. That's the closest to yellow you're going to find all night in the field. I'm pretty sure.
Pace car is off, and we'll get back to it right where it left off. 46 to go this time by.
And this time by was Terzak up top, and it's Hefner on the bottom. And Hefner's all over the inside of Terzak here. They're still side by side. And I think somewhere Cameron Ruggles has the best seat in the house because he knows that this is going to get more aggressive. And if he can sit in P4 and wait for it to happen, he might be in the catbird seat to pick up 2 or 3 spots when that battlefield heats up and something goes wrong.
Meanwhile, it's calamity in the midfield as once again we have drivers upon drivers stacked up on top of one another as everyone's scrambling for whatever positions they can muster. It's been a hard, aggressive fight so far tonight, but again, that is just how we like to see it. Blaze Brinkley getting a little loose there with the 12th place spot. Right behind him, Noah Hubbard, a little bit stacked up in the rear.
Lots of good racing action happening as this race thins out. The 11 cars back here. He is trying everything he can. That's there's multiple 11s on scoring towers. We're trying to figure which one that is, but lots of great action happening side by side all night long. These guys are not wanting to give up an inch here.
Noah Hubbard, you saw him get wicked sideways there in turn 4 and nearly go around. Jordan Blaze Brinkley with that 11th place in the 11 car, still holding the inside, looking to get back into the top 10. Has to get around Cody Anderson, and Anderson has not been keen to move out of the way of some of these drivers in this one. Will Brinkley use the bumper? He hasn't been afraid to. He's been putting the bumper to people left and right.
And he's got to get aggressive here because he's got the new tires, and the last thing he can do is just sit back and let them expire. He pitted on lap 134. So he pitted almost 40 laps later than everyone else.
Oh my Here we go. Here we go.
Wow.
How they did not wreck. Okay, well, I spoke too soon. There it is. Heart of the wall for the number 20 of Anderson. They're not done yet. As the 017 goes around, the 7 gets collected. Thought for a moment they made it out of that. That caution came out with some delay on it, too.
Let's watch what's going to happen. Blaze is down here. He gets in the back end of that Chili's car. And then, but Blaze is back out of it, and the Chili's car just
two lines coming together with Anderson and Lucas Austin in the 13.
Yep.
Oh, that's a hard hit into the wall. And it's not done yet, because then here comes everyone else sliding in, trying to avoid. And Caswell caught both the 7 and the 17. That was Burke and, I believe, not Bryson Miller. I think Dylan Barris that got turned.
But I'd say what we need to do. We need to be packed up and ready to go. Because I'm telling you what, when the groundskeeper gets here tonight, and he finds out what these guys did to that grass down there,
He's going to be pissed.
And I don't want to be here for that. So I'm just saying, we need to be out here soon after the race is over. Like,
I'm sure he's already watching, and he is that eye's going to be twitching by now. It's like, he's going to have the leaf cutter out, and it's not just cars that are going to, it's not just grass going to get cut tonight.
Yeah,
watch the brake lines.
Turned in his resignation already. It isn't worth it. I've often thought that. I mean, about real life racing, you go somewhere where like NASCAR goes for a weekend, and it's when, you know, all 3 series are in the same place, and, you know, you get like Daytona, for example, and like Friday night in the trucks, there's the big one on the front straight, and he just tears up the grass, and somehow on Saturday it looks fine, and some poor guy stayed there all night long.
You know they got paid real well for that job, though, especially when they had to repaint everything.
Right.
You know, they made a pretty penny off of that, so there's always something to make up for it. But I tell you what, sometimes when especially when you're on the cheaper side, I mean, you know, Derek, obviously, we have a signboard up now at Agassiz Speedway. Every time I see a car go onto the front straightaway, I'm just cringing, like, please don't hit it. That was really expensive to make.
Yeah. All right, everybody's going to choose this time. Choose Konazawa. Go ahead.
It has somehow survived up to this point through 2 extensively
you should
attrition
not
rate
have,
late model races.
You did that to yourself. Let me point that out. So, well, I get a picture in a couple weeks that the board didn't survive. I'm like, well, listen to this clip right here.
If it gets damaged, I'm getting a picture with the driver that damaged it as well.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, we are getting closer and closer to end this race. 38 to go as we're frozen. Remember, caution laps do not count in this race here for the Hampton Heat 200. And we're happy you're along for the ride. I hope you've been here all night long. It's been a long ride between the qualifying and the heats. And I wonder if the format next time in October is going to make me alleviate some of this. Nolan, where you're going to do all your qualifying the first night, walk away, get some rest, kind of walk it off, and then come back the next day. And I know there'll be probably more, more laps, more heats, but I wonder if breaking up the process a little bit will kind of help alleviate some of the fatigue on the drivers.
I think it depends. You could argue it could be worse because then you lack some of the experience that you just got from the practice and the qualifying session the day before.
You'd also argue that all the rubber doesn't carry over, too. So it'll be interesting to see. Well, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Green flag is back out for Ethan Johnson. He's going to be there with Kyle Turzak, and Hampton are still side by side. And
contact there! Johnson on the racetrack!
They finally got him on the lead. Restarts under review. We'll get back to that here. But that's the first time we've seen on a restart someone really hit the leader and push him with the track.
Unfortunately, Hefner was not able to take advantage of it, and Johnson was able to get back down to the bottom. So kind of lucked out. Got some luck out of that one. Caution's out again.
Wrecking.
Tyser, Barris, both around to the back straightaway. Ay. Still nowhere near that 3-hour time limit, by the way, so we're not at risk of hitting that. But that's not to say that this race still has not been a doozy on these drivers. Hefner just pitted.
Let's take a look at the replay first. I don't know.
Oh, they were already sideways in front, and that's what sends
front,
Barris
ahead.
around.
Yep, that purple car was,
so
sitting there sideways.
It was Dylan Calkins.
The 191.
Yeah, Calkins ended up going around with this one to start this off. He got into a bit with the 15 there, didn't he? And then got some help from behind from Burke. So I think he got loose off of Kyle DeMoss and then spun himself effectively.
No fault for the caution is the call from race control. I've still not heard about the race start being under review. I'm not sure if I missed that call in all the chaos, but yeah, that's going to be
I think that's
ruling there.
I think it's fair. I mean, there's just so much bumping around. You can't really pin everybody or pin something on that one.
An hour 15, by the way, of the 3 is what's left of the 3-hour timer. Just want to point that out since you brought it up a second ago. So it's been a doozy. We're more than halfway through that timer, just of the 3-hour race session, not counting qualifying and heats and everything else. But yeah, I would hope, I really hope that we don't spend an hour 15 on these next 36 laps. But that clock is a ticking.
If we get a caution once a lap, it is in theory possible.
Don't you do that.
I'm stating the obvious. It's not over.
All right, Choose Cone has been completed, so we're just going to wait for the pace car to do its gig here. And luckily, the field's frozen, and we don't count caution laps. Otherwise, the pace car might lead more laps than some of these drivers tonight.
Fun fact, by the way, Blazing Pedals Truck Series action has come and has since gone since the start of this race. Showing it's been a long night, and they were racing at Texas earlier today. Yeah. It was, I believe, Chris Carroll who was able to walk away with the win in that one, ahead of Dalton Kilroe by only 0.4 of a second.
Nice. I want to welcome back Lucas Moody, the broadcast team, by the way. He's back this week on Blazing Pedals. As we're back to green here quickly here at the racetrack, and that time there was no battle for second because Kurzak quickly got up front there. And what happened to...
Hefker pitted under the yellow flag.
You did say that. I apologize. You quickly
and we got him around. That's a bit of a how do you do for a turn 3 camera operator as Brody Marinko is facing the wrong direction. And we'll do it again.
Yeah, so welcome back, Lucas Moody. Was go away for a summer internship to help with some school stuff. Made his return to the broadcast booth
yesterday.
Tonight, I believe.
No, yesterday.
Oh, yeah, yesterday for VSCA. Yeah, he teamed up with James Newton, I believe.
Yes, he did.
For the second half of VSCA. He came back tonight. He'll be the new regular color commentator for Blazing Pedals for the rest of the season.
3 wide, and it goes about how you'd expect, as Marenko just got turned off the nose of the O2 machine.
Yeah, a couple of broadcasting changes upcoming on the channel. I guess we could talk about when we have some spare time. Tomorrow night will be Justin Princeton's last night with you for this season of High Tide Racing League. Next week, we'll start working with Jacob Kohler for the playoffs and Chase over at High Tide Racing League. So welcoming Jacob back. He's got a lot more free time opened up for him, so he's going to take over some broadcast duties. Be a new color commentator on Thursday nights for the Caswell Glass Company O'Reilly series. We'll announce that person later this week. And lots of good changes happening. Lots of positives are happening. But happy to have Jacob and Lucas back. Appreciate them and getting involved. And lots of exciting things upcoming for our staff. 2 of our producers, Dustin Ollis and Christian Hill, will be the producers for the live events at the Sim Gaming Expo in September, so we'll get good representation there.
And of course, there's still more coming up as well, even on the channel as well. You have the Belgian Series Federation. They're making a return pretty soon with the Sprint Cup starting up in September, as well as the Classic IndyCar Series making a long-way return. It was a bit of an extended off-season for them as they transitioned from a spring to fall series from fall to spring. So instead of a summer break, they're now taking a winter break. So they'll be back with more in September, and then they'll be racing all the way through into May before their season draws to a close.
Yeah, lots of exciting stuff coming.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll keep an eye on everything, and happy to see all those series returning and keep our current series. All right, 34 to go is the call from Race Control. You see it up on the top left of your screen here. Night here in Virginia. A track to see many stars come through, by the way. Denny Hamlin got some of his first race starts here at Langley Speedway. So we've seen some stars of tomorrow come through. And remember, as we said, this track currently runs the Cars Tour, ran the O'Reilly Series from 1982, 1988. So lots of many racing memories have occurred here on this racetrack. As one more gets about to be made as we're back to green.
Still have 24 on track, only 23 on the lead lap by now. Turzak once again all over the back of Ethan Johnson. Wanted to see if he can find a way through. No joy for the time being, but they're getting a little bit argy-bargy deeper in the field here as Caswell getting shuffled out from the middle line.
Lots of good, hard racing actually happening up and down the field here. And this is what you got to do now. Again, you've got to be aggressive now. There's only 30-some laps to go. And
oh my, they nearly went 4.
I thought I saw a car have internet problems right there. That maybe I just wasn't focused. Oh, they're 3 wide. Oh boy, that's gonna barely work itself out. And that's Jacob Hefner trying to work on through. And I don't understand. I mean, there's no way Hefner hadn't used his tires yet, right?
To be fair, you oftentimes at a short track only have enough time to change over the right sides. He may have gotten the left sides back onto the onto his car.
He is kind of powering his way through, which is what made me ask the question. He's kind of having a pretty dominant rate or a dominant run right here. He's quickly getting down to the bottom and passing some cars. I'll tell you, I mean, he's currently sitting back here in P12. The problem and the concern I have for him, in all honesty, Nolan, is I just don't think he has enough time to get back to the front.
28 laps, still a long way to go. And trouble behind.
Turn 1.
Burke's around and caution again. There's a whole host of them jumbled up this time. Wesley Burke was among them. Take a look back. This is what went down. That doesn't quite help things out there, does it? As this was up near the front, and Burke got help from Caswell, and it was on from there. Tough break for a good chunk of this field as we once again find ourselves under the yellow flag with under 30 laps to go. Caution is out once again. We still have a long way left to go and a lot that can still happen in the Hampton Heat. We're going to take a step back. We return. It's more racing action on Green Flag TV. You're watching the Mystic Racing League Triple Crown live from Langley.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV. You are watching the Hampton Heat and the second race of the Mystic Triple Crown here from the Harry King Law Langley Speedway. Once again, my name is Nolan Rempel alongside Derek Watson, bringing you all the action from start to finish. It was a relatively clean opening half of this race, and it has devolved into an absolute bloodbath as we get set to close out these last 27 laps, but it is not looking to be any easier for this field. Coming around 3 and 4, Green Flag will be out this time by, and we'll see if we can't finally get some laps down. Green Flag is in the air.
Another solid jump for your leader, as is Orlando Terzak's going to try. He's going to stick up front. He'll be side by side down the back straight. But look at that big mess back there with Cameron Ruggles and Toby Lane. Noah Hubbard's back there.
Oh my!
Oh boy, one of the closest restarts we've seen all night, I feel like.
And Terzak is done playing around. He's now hit the back of Johnson 3 times in 2 turns. He wants to move him out of the way for the race lead. There's a 4th hit there in turn 4 that last time through.
And don't be confused. Oh, there's some contact with 21. I saw a smoking tire like he was turned around, but he got it saved here. That's right in front of your former leader of the 11 car, by the way.
Up at the front, Turzak has backed off a little bit, trying to, I think, regather some of that momentum.
By the way, that's a different car. Breaking news for Jacob Hefner in the 95. He's saying he got door slammed and pushed down below the pit entry line, and he has a black flag to serve. I'm not confirming yet if they've cleared it or going to clear it, but he's requesting for it to be cleared, saying it's not his fault. We'll see what happens with that.
It does look like it is at least for now being cleared, and that's likely to give race control a chance to go back and assess to see if that is indeed the case. And I'm sure if it isn't the case and he did not get forced down there, they're going to give him that black flag back again. Was that directly off the restart?
I'm not sure. I heard the call come out, but I couldn't quite tell when it was. And we also saw some contact there as well. There's a caution.
It's Hubbard. Hubbard going around Marinko into the inside wall.
21 has been told to park it for the night. He is done based upon this caution. I'm not sure what's going to be the cause of that. Let's find out here.
Well, the one made a huge look to the inside of Brody Marinko. He got into the 017.
What did the 21 do wrong?
That's what I'm wondering. That's not the yellow there.
Well, let's keep watching and see if something else happened here, because I don't.
So that was about a lap before the actual caution came out, and the 21 was nowhere near that.
Let's keep watching. See if there's any.
I think he. Are they calling it a self spin?
There might be some more after this. Let's keep this replay moving. Watch the rejoin, maybe. Let's see. I'm not saying there is. I'm saying I'm.
Buddy.
No.
Oh, okay. That's okay. That would, for me, that would warrant being parked even without that being your third strike. That's just inexcusable.
There it is. Yep. So 21 has been told to park it for the night, and that will take one more car off track.
And this is what happened with Hefner when he got his black flag. So he's 3 wide, racing with the 15 and 13. A lot of contact there.
There it is.
I gotta be honest, I don't see you being forced down there from a door slam, though. I mean, he had half a straightaway to get it back up there.
Yeah, I don't know. So I don't know the risk with that one, but
more news. Brody Marinko's been disqualified for reasons as of yet unknown.
I think that's his third.
He didn't cause the caution, though.
That's true. This was watch this through.
Yeah.
There's that. Let's see.
And he's been beefing with the 13 for a while now. Now the caution is out.
Keep this playing, though. I think you're going to find if we keep this playing.
We'll keep it playing. He does have a meatball flag. That is worth noting.
Maybe he never served it?
He wouldn't have had time to. It's under caution.
That's fair.
And it's 3 green flag laps. You get passes under the yellow flag for that.
No, you're right.
Oh, that might be why. Kind of just straight lines it right into the 0-2 there. And then he pulls it off and toes. Boy, everyone's getting mad all of a sudden.
Blaze Brinkley, by the way, is also being put to the end of the line. Is not allowed to choose this time. We must have missed something with the 11.
I wouldn't know what to tell you at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, I want to say this. Obviously, no one wants, you don't ever want to see anyone get DQ'd. I'm not advocating for it per se, but you have to understand that with this type of racing, you know, when we're 170 laps in, plus all the caution laps, plus all the night, tempers get hot, angers get hot, emotions get high. People are going to do things they don't really mean just because you're just kind of frustrated at this point. So that may be some of what we're seeing. And that's not excusing the contact. It's just saying sometimes that happens in short track racing. It's kind of double edged. You don't want to see it, but at the same time, it is kind of why some people watch it, is to see the emotions get high and the tempers get high and the drivers get hot. So it's starting to happen here. By the way, in all that chaos, it looks like Turzak got his lead back. What happened to... Did Ethan Johnson pit?
Looks that, yes, he did. Pitted under the yellow flag, so Terzak back to the point. There's Johnson all the way at the tail end now after he came down pit road. Green flag is back. And we'll try to, oh my goodness, they're already stacking into each other.
I'm quiet because I'm speechless because I don't understand. I kind of get when Hefner did it with 40-some laps to go while you do it with 20 to go. No idea why Johnson did it.
A lot of faith that there's going to be a lot more attrition that he can pick his way through and get to the point, I guess, which is not an entirely unreasonable assumption based on how the last 30 or so laps have gone. And how we're going to go again as Brinkley's around this time.
Blaze Brinkley, who, I don't know.
This is the lap prior.
'17 and the '77 are going to get together is the call from race control.
That tracks for me. They got together and stacked the 11 into the car behind them. This is turning into one of those nights. Derek, what do you think? Do you think Terzak holds on to this? Because, I mean, he's been great on getting off the line on these restarts.
Not only has he been great in getting up the line, the one thing I noticed about Terzak that I think was different than most other leaders tonight is Terzak does a much better job at sealing the bottom of the track. He really does treat that line down there almost like the yellow line of Super Speedway. Earlier when we watched Johnson up there, we saw Hefner up there, or a couple of drivers been up front. They would kind of drift up in the corners. They would open that door and they would let someone pass them by. I don't think we've seen Terzak do that all night long. Terzak has sealed that corner, and that's what is allowing him to lead. So unless someone like a Toby Lane or a Ruggles or heck, a Kobe Vaughn, who's kind of appeared up front here, is going to use that bumper and move him, no one's going to pass him freely.
I think you're right, and I think that's what we could be looking at for quite a few of the drivers here on the afternoon. It's a mad game on who can find their way to the inside quickest.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's only probably going to lead to more cautions as this night goes on. Well, this race is still quickly ticking down. We're less than 20 to go. And again, while these caution laps don't count, it's just going to take a couple minutes of racing here, and this thing could be all said and done. 17 to go at the line is where we're going to be. It's Terzak up front, and again, I will say I think this is Terzak's race to lose. If he makes no mistakes, I don't think anyone's going to get around him.
Coming around through 3 and 4. Terzak with the control. Terzak on the loud pedal, and we're back to green.
Restart under review as it must have been for the night. Look at that, though. Look up in the back there for P2. That is Cameron Ruggles. He's been working his way front all night long. Now he's up to P2.
Oh, we got one around.
Have the
oh,
chance
it's
to
a
pass.
big mess on the front straightaway here.
Never mind. At a certain point, guys, we've got to clean this up. Like, I get we're racing for something, but we're also not. Like, I don't know.
By the way, Race Control making the call that they will now be making the choose with 1 lap to go. So drivers will have to get their rears in gear, so to speak, as we are running out of time on that clock, aren't we, I guess, as taking a look. And right there, turn big time into the outside wall. And that leads to a massive stack up on the front.
The question will be who's at fault between the 191 and the 31. Does the 191 come down and hook the 31, or does the 31 is that the 81, or does that other car come up? That's the question now to be solved for this wreck. Is who does what? Now, I'll be honest, from that angle,
goodness.
I can't tell. I'm just not sure how we're gonna. Maybe from a top-down view, you can kind of tell. I don't know, but.
Watch Shive here as Scott Shive's going to get turned hard into the outside wall. This is a thunderous impact. Bam! Right into the concrete, and then gets piled into by 3 other drivers.
Okay, so a couple things to go over here. The 191 is going to be at fault. They're going to determine he turned left and caused this wreck, which that right there, I mean, that tracks. That's a good call right there. Also, the 051 has been tagged for the restart violation. He jumped the start, and he will have a penalty to serve as well. So 2 cars under penalty here. And both, I believe, will be under green flag penalty serving.
Darren, do me a favor. How much time's on that clock for this race? Because 15 to go. If they're making the call that you're choosing and then going 1 to go.
54 minutes.
Okay, so the clock is not going to be a concern then. Might just be a case of we need to just get back to going quicker because, holy cow, what are we doing here? Oh, I think Hefner caught the seam. Could be sent to the back. Not sure about it. That'd be a rough break if he was. And we're going to go green this time.
And we're going green this time. This will be interesting how this works out. I wonder if they're trying to rush them along so they're not all packed in together. Like, that sounds kind of weird to say, but you're not all packed in together. Maybe you space out and you don't wreck one another. I don't know. We'll wait and see. Green flag is back out. Is Turzak leading here, and he's going to have Cameron Ruggles and Colby Vaughn side by side behind. Those are 2 new names. Up front, P4 is Jacob Hefner. Apparently did not get caught on the restarts on the choose cone there.
Turzak still with the lead. Ruggles trying to go for the number 2 spot alongside Colby Vaughn. Jacob Hefner trying to hold on to the podium spots from behind. Oh, down the inside. Door-to-door contact with Vaughn. Up the racetrack. Vaughn still holding on for the podium.
These guys have to sort this out quick. I said it before. Don't let the cars in front pull ahead because you're fighting. Hefner's going to pull on through here. Remember, Hefner pitted back on lap 176. So we'll see what, if any, he has extra for these drivers, but he's now up to P3. He's now got Cameron Ruggles up ahead, and there's a lap car just ahead of these guys. Not sure who that is. That could play a factor here as well.
Very easily could. There's a lot of factors here still to keep in mind. The big one, do we make it through the last 11 laps clean? My money is on probably not. Toby Lane still holding on to the bottom side. Skylar Dixon to the outside of Lucas Austin, battling for 11th.
10 to go. 10 to go. Almost down to single-digit numbers on the lap counter. 10 laps left in this 200-lap shootout. As the 13 got a little bit of contact, and these guys are racing to the scene of the accident right now.
Well, they somehow hold on, but there is still room for there to be one more yellow on the day. Meanwhile, Hefner trying to go for the number 2 spot, and if he gets this, which he does, now can he run down Turzak? He needs to be quicker than a 10th a lap if he wants to catch him.
That's what he's going to have to do here. He's going to have to do it quickly here, but Hefner's probably, in my mind, the driver with the best possibility to do it here. This last time by, he was not. He was 2 tenths slower last time. I'll check the times of the line here again to see what we're going to be at. It's going to be Turzak with a 15. That's not going to update for me. Even 15.95, 15.98 between the two. So there's not a time gained. They're basically dead heats.
Ethan Johnson has just been given a repair required flag. He is done for the night. So he is going to be into pit road. No joy. Spinner back straight away. It's the 48 Max Dinda. Caution is out again. With only 5 to go.
for Jacob Hefner, that may be the best news he could have got. Let's watch what's going to happen here. 48 cars going to come sliding through the corner a little bit. And is he going to get hit from behind?
By Dumas.
He is.
And then Dumas got picked
Dumas
up by
got hit
Brinkley.
And that's on the 15.
Well, no surprise.
I would disagree. I feel like contrarian tonight. I disagree. The 48's already loose.
I mean, everybody's kind of a bit loose going through there, but 5 laps to go. And might get another call here for race control pretty soon. Not sure.
There's the free pass car going around. That's the 191.
So that will put Dylan Calkins, I believe, back onto the lead lap. 5 to go, though. I mean, realistically, I don't see us making it to the end of this race still.
What do you mean? You mean without another caution, you mean?
Without another caution, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Poor phrasing.
I was like, we're going to make the end of the race. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, no. Another caution is likely. It's and the frustrating part, I think, from race control's point of view, Nolan, is a lot of these wrecks are happening towards the back of the field. And a race like this, where there's not really this is not a season-long points league. This is not a, 26 race playoff system or whatever. This is just out here for prize money night. So when you're wrecking in the back for 30, I think that's where the frustration from race control comes from, is we're getting ready to go green next time by. But I think that's the frustration that race control is having tonight, is that when you're, why are you racing? Why are you wrecking for last? In other words, right?
Especially a place that doesn't net you any dollary dues. It's, I can understand it. And, hey, I'd be frustrated if I was a race controller like this, in a race like this. But, hey, it's the name of the game. It's short track racing on iRacing. You're always going to get this sort of thing when you get these types of races. Green flag coming out this time by 5 laps the distance. Can Terzak hang on? Green flag is in the air.
Here's the traditional Herzog jump, and boy, Hefner is right up there with him, as is the 71. Colby Vaughn up on the outside, and you said no way we got there, and you're right. Caution
make it
is
one
out
lap.
in turn 1.
We even make it one corner.
No.
Dave Billings around to bring the latest one out. So the 14 deep in the field. And would it come in from the 13? Yes, it does, in a big way. Goodness gracious.
If we can go back to the restart, by the way, if we could focus on Ruggles and the 77 for a second, because there's some beef. This is not the cause of the caution. But let's watch the restart here. Ruggles is insistent. Yeah, Ruggles was insistent. The 77's hitting him and saying, "You're not going to win it from row 4, buddy. Like, what are you doing?" The 77 says, "I never touched you." Well, did.
We have some better angles to look at that at, and we have some time under this yellow fly. Why not? Let's go beef stirring. All right. On this round of Did They Make Contact? I'd say
yes.
that's pretty definitive. Yes, he did. Now,
That's
granted,
yes.
I don't fault Adam Holston for not realizing that it made contact, because he's on the brakes as well, right? So I'm sure that's a case of, he probably didn't even realize that they touched. So I don't fault him for that. It's not like it's an egregious amount of contact either.
That car contact is 0x on the middle of your screen might have told you otherwise, though.
I don't even look up at that stuff half the time. I'm not going to lie to you.
Just saying. But yeah, Ruggles was upset, just saying, "Hey guys, listen, why are we bumping it?" I don't know.
Hey, at least they are racing for spots that score you dollary dues. 4
That's true.
laps to go.
That's true. That's true.
Try it again.
Here we go. Let's try it again.
4 laps and 1 less for Hefner to make the move. He's trying to go around the long way, and Terzak's in trouble. Hefner trying to find the hole, can't get around the outside. Terzak still leads, coming to 3 to go.
Restarts under review, and it's going to be a good run right here for Terzak. He's going to have the 77 behind it now. He's got, the car below him to 71. That's going to create a block here, and now Hefner's in trouble.
Hefner's in trouble. Terzak pulling clear. No signs of the slow down unless there's a caution this lap. Terzak effectively has this thing locked up in the bag. 1 car coming out of pit road. Terzak's going to get around with no problems. Vaughn will not be able to find 7/10 in a lap. 1 lap to go in the Hampton Heat. Terzak out in front. He failed to finish the South Boston 200, and today he will go from the penthouse to the outhouse. Terzak wins the Hampton Heat at the Langley Speedway. 1 car spins in the rear. It's Austin. A drive for Kyle Terzak. Imagine failing to finish the race a few weeks ago and going back to win the sequel. Terzak burns it down on the front straightaway in spectacular fashion, and there were some dramas on that final lap too there, Derek. So let's take a look back and find out what happened to other drivers in the field.
Going to be our same drivers from the last game of Did They Touch, and we'll watch again.
They did touch.
There.
They definitely.
That's not the same drivers, but there's also be some beef, I think, between Holston and Ruggles again when we get there.
81 just lost it on the marbles up there. There's Ruggles up to the outside. He's clearly had an issue. And then there's the 13 of Lucas Austin. Just a bit of ping pong, and it looked like there at the tail end. And you mentioned Ruggles, a little bit upset. Ruggles down to 7th place. There's Holston down low.
You say they make contact.
I don't see it. I mean, I saw a little door, but that would have been from Ruggles this time. Regardless.
Oh, well.
Regardless, a stellar race that we had here today. Let's get a rundown of your official post-race results from the Hampton Heat. 200 laps, it took a while, but we make it to the end. It's Terzak, number 1. Vaughn, number 2. Jordan Blaze Brinkley comes home 3rd. Hefner in 4th. Holston, Lane, Ruggles, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Dixon, Didna, and Tizer round out the top 10.
Back in the P11, you'll find Zachary Mertes back there with Dylan Barris and Dylan Calkins, 12th and 13th. Dave Billings is 14th with Garrett Caswell, Kyle Dumas, Scott Shive, Lucas Austin, all there at least 1 lap down. Then beyond that, 6 or more laps down is Ethan Johnson and Wesley Burke back in the P20.
And the last drivers in the field, it's Bryson Miller, Noah Hubbard, Cody Anderson, and Cody Troyer. Bryson Brinkley, Tyler Clark, Luke Barnes, Brandon Elvis, Brody Marinko, and Gavin Gleitzman. The bottom 2 drivers did not make it to the start of racing action tonight. What a run that this field had today. We have got to give our props to Kyle Terzak. Talk about going from the outhouse to the penthouse. Kyle, you failed to finish the South Boston 200. What a way to turn it around, take the pole as well as the $100 prize for winning the Hampton Heat. How are you feeling after this one?
Pretty good. That first section there, I really burned up my stuff. So, I went all the way back to like 7th or something like that. And the second half, I just kind of rode the entire time. I saw Hefner and Ethan were kind of battling, so I was just chilling behind them. Picked them off one by one up to get up to 3rd. And honestly, I got really lucky because I took a lot of fuel at the halfway break because I knew there was going to be not a lot of cautions, but some cautions, and that would play a factor. And And also I took field to loosen up this car because man, the right front just did not like you tonight. So, um, yeah, that was interesting. I feel like Jordan or Blaze definitely had the best shot to win. Right, he had the freshest tires, and if he didn't go to the back with that little incident, that would have been a good race. But that was a lot of fun, a lot of cautions though. But there's just a lot of money on the line, and there's a lot of people. Right, we had 40 cars, something like that, just to try to qualify in, and everyone's trying to fight for each spot for the Triple Crown. So glad that we can come out here and win $100, and especially not put us back in the Triple Crown race, but at least be have our name and in the top 10 or something like that.
Talk about what's coming up. The Martinsville 300. It's all the way out in October, so still a couple months out, but it's going to be even longer than this race was tonight with its own qualifying night to boot. Are you going to be back for the third Triple Crown race as well?
Oh yeah, for sure. I love Martinsville. I always do it whenever leagues and stuff have the Martinsville 300. So I love it. But I'm usually used to open setups, so these are fixed setups. So I honestly, are at a disadvantage. I know like Ethan Johnson, all those guys run a lot of fixed stuff. So, I have a lot of experience in this car, but not really on the fixed side. So, hopefully we can go to Martinsville. Hopefully we can have a good handling race car and try to get a clock.
Wish you the best of luck when we go racing next time out. Congratulations on coming home #1 here in the Hampton Heat, and we will see you in a couple months then in Virginia once again.
Yeah, thanks. Real quick, I do want to thank Brandon Warlud for putting this on, you guys for the broadcast, Arkham Shop for everything to do. Wow, I don't even know what I just said. Hot Shot Photography for iRacing photos, Turzak Race on Facebook, Matthew Designs for real life stuff, Corey Buddy Raps for everything, and everybody's watching back at home.
That was Kyle Turzak coming home #1 in the Hampton Heat here this afternoon. Derek, you've caught up with our other podium finishers, including Colby Vaughn.
I have caught up with Colby Vaughn. And Colby, what a great run you had tonight. Up 8 spots from where you started the main race, and after a very long night, congrats on P2.
Thanks, Derek. I can confidently say that was the most hard-fought second-place finish I've ever had. I think I went from the back to the front 4 times. Everything started off well. Qualifying went great. I was happy with the top 10 starting position. But there in the first half, it seemed like everything that could go wrong did go wrong. But thankfully, we were able to fight back there at the end and come home with a second place.
Now, I feel like I saw your car at least one tire off the ground a couple times tonight. How do you do that and still come home P2?
Honestly, I wish I knew the answer to that. I just didn't give up, and there was a couple times where the car was pretty jacked up, and I was able to get it fixed in the pits and come back out all right, and I just kept fighting and clawing and scrapping for every position out there, and I was able to bring it home.
So we saw some of the leaders tonight start to come down pit road pretty late at different intervals. We saw Hefner come down, and like Brinkley came down after losing the lead, and everyone just kind of kept coming down one by one. Were you surprised how late some people were pitting?
No, actually, because I noticed with, I don't know, maybe 50, 60 laps to go that I was about 10 laps short on fuel. And I figured that I wasn't the only one who realized that. So I think that had a big part to play in it. Thankfully, I caught it early enough to where I didn't have to pit later and later in the race. But yeah, honestly, I don't know for sure, but I think that had a lot to do with it, was guys realizing like, oh no, I don't have enough gas.
Well, about a month and a half from now, we come to the Martinsville 300, the finale of the Mystic Triple Crown for these cars. So what's your outlook when we go to Martinsville?
Really good. I love Martinsville. It's actually my home track. I live about 15 minutes from there. I've been there a million times. I've done a million laps of it on the sim, so I feel really good. I feel like the Justin Brooks design and Vark Racing Camaro will be ready to go.
Listen, it's always a pleasure watching your race. Anyone you want to say hello to or give a shout out to?
I want to shout out my friends at varkracing.com, as well as my buddy Justin Brooks, who gave me the fantastic paint scheme.
Again, pleasure watching your race, and we'll see you at Martinsville.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, that is Colby Vaughn coming home in P2, and now we'll go ahead and we'll welcome in the driver who went from, I think, the front to the back at least once and almost got back there again. Blaze Brinkley. Blaze, that 11 car was busy tonight, was in the front, was in the back, was all through the field. How are you feeling?
Tired now.
I bet you are. It was a long night of racing, though, but overall, was it fun? What's the word you would use to describe it?
Yeah, it's always fun when you get to drive race cars, but it was a lot more eventful than I hoped it would be, but it's all good. We ended up on the podium, so you can't really complain too much at the end of the night.
Fair enough. Well, as we look ahead in the month of October, we head over to Martinsville for the Martinsville 300, the 2-day event. What's your outlook for Martinsville?
Just try to go run top 5 again. Probably take some notes from tonight about the tires and when to pit. It's hard to pit late in these races because you kind of get caught up in other people's stuff and you're way back in traffic. So probably take a few notes and go forward to Martinsville.
All right, well, listen, it's a pleasure watching you race, and we'll see you in about a month and a half or so.
Thank you.
All right, that is Blaze Brooklyn coming home P3, and then Nolan, that will wrap up our podium interviews for the evening.
What a journey that we found ourselves on here this afternoon. And there's still one race of the Triple Crown to go, the Martinsville 300. Still a couple months out, yes, but no doubt bound to be just as excited. Derek, your final thoughts as we get set to close out the second race here of the Triple Crown.
I think this race was exactly what everyone should have predicted it to be in the beginning. Lots of contact, lots of tempers, lots of beating and banging, but overall a great, solid run to the finish line. And congrats to Kyle Turzak.
A lot of racing still left to go in the Mystic Racing League Triple Crown. We go racing out of Martinsville next time. Before we get to that, the High Tide Racing League closes out the regular series season this coming Monday, as well as the Silver Fox Racing Late Model Stock Championship headed to their second to last race at Bristol Motor Speedway. PSR back for more Indianapolis alongside the Beer League, while the Caswell Glass Company Series will hit the Darlington Raceway and Speed. We'll see the quarterfinals of the in-season bracket challenge at New Hampshire. If you want to find out more about who we are, what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflag.tv. Once again, my name has been Nolan Rempel alongside Derek Watson. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll see you all when we go racing for the Martinsville 300 in October.